shrugs one tackle, throws it onto his right boot, and he's got it! Another one to the Royals.
A WAFL Premiership hat-trick.
Sends it on its way. Oh, he's made no mistake. Well, the West Perth players, you would have to think, like their supporters, could almost start celebrating that.
Ambrose swoops 47 metres out and he's iced the cake. Subiaco are the 2004 premiers. Boundary line might be his best friend. He should have gone that way. He's gone back over his head. 4 goals to Adams. South Fremantle are the WAFL premiers. Shovelled out there by Hall. De Keevers snaps. They get another one, the Lions. Keevers gets his second. Subiaco, the king of the jungle and the king of the WAFL. Hand pass to Smith. Goal to Subi. The second time in Subi's history they've won consecutive WAFL premierships. He kicks it though into the goal square itself. Reid. Oh, he's done a David Beckham. For the first time in the history of the Subiaco Footy Club, a hat-trick of premiership flags.
Callum Wilson does get his 5th. It's been an outstanding performance from full forward.
The 13th time in their history they win the WAFL premiership. Swans must mark. Well done. Knocked down by Stevenson. Cracker gathers, shoots, and Swans have won the grand final by one solitary point.
Claremont have won. Absolute elation there. But there is one more kick in this game. So the margin, 56 points.
And for the first time in 73 years, the Claremont Football Club has gone back to back.
Falcons or Royals, the 2013 Premiership is decided today.
It is indeed a grand old flag. West Perth, the first team into the 2013 grand final. And they have had to do it the hard way through the season, but a big win in the second semi-final, and the Falcons into a chance where they can take out another flag against the Royals, who have really muscled their way into this grand final. Josh Smith has been a big part of it, but they come into the grand final for 2013. East Perth with a groundswell of momentum. A powerhouse ruckman in Paul Johnson, runner-up in the Sandover medal on Monday night. Craig Wolfe there in game number 225, one of the great stories of this year's grand finals. We welcome you to Subiaco Oval, a big day, the biggest day of the year. Joining me in commentary this afternoon is Ken Judge, and Judgey, welcome to you. Even 2 or 3 weeks ago, this was a most unlikely match-up in a grand final. All of a sudden, East Perth have turned things on its head. West Perth have had the fortnight to prepare themselves. How does one offset the other?
Well, it's hard to know, Lammy. I suppose to draw a line through these two sides. West Perth fantastic in getting straight into a grand final and beating Claremont. We all thought that. Claremont just had a bad day. East Perth came out last week and really put the sword to Claremont and won convincingly. The line I suppose we're going to try and get is what sort of shape and form are Claremont in the end, because East Perth and West Perth are here grand final day. We'll know probably at 5 o'clock tonight whether Claremont perhaps had really gone off the boil, and we'll see a significant winner here today. But I think it's going to be a great game of football. Interesting to see what happens weather-wise, because we need the weather to hold a little bit, because we don't want to destroy the spectacle of the game. But I'm thinking East Perth have got the momentum going their way at the moment.
I see in one of the broadsheets you picked East Perth by 25 points. I picked them by 26 points. Yep. But this is the road to the grand final, and how it's all come about. The first semi-final was East Perth's against Swan Districts, running out winners by 28 points. A cliffhanger at Claremont Oval in the second semi-final, West Perth prevailing by just 4 points. And in the preliminary final last week, East Perth really trounced Claremont, the margin 63 points. Already the Colts and Reserves grand finals have been decided in a bit of an upset in the Colts. Claremont getting up over South Fremantle by just 6 points. And in the Reserves, it was a good strong win by South Fremantle, defeating West Perth by 36 points. So terrific start to the day. Whether or not the weather is going to hold. Whether or not the breeze is going to play a big part in judging it or not is hard to say. But certainly there are so many pluses about East Perth, aren't there?
Oh, look, they look impressive to me. They've just really got their side together at the right time. They've managed to get a couple of players back from West Coast that have strengthened their list. They're playing really good footy at the right end of the season.
They are indeed. Well, it was a big night on Monday night, as always. One of the great spectacles of the season, Sandover Medal Night. And the winner, of course, was East Fremantle's Rory O'Brien with 55 votes over Paul Johnson, the runner-up, with 43 votes, and Clermont's Jake Murphy in third place with 41. And we'll be looking at that in detail at our half-time in the footy package this afternoon. Also on Monday night, the announcement of the Bernie Naylor medalist. We've known that for some weeks. Josh Smith, 62 goals, the winner of the Bernie Naylor medal for 2013. And the Rodriguez Shield was won by Clermont. That, of course, across the three grades, Colts, Reserves and League. And it was Clermont on top with 280 points over West Perth. So there it is, Judgy, and we look at the history between these clubs. It's been a great history between these two clubs. Obviously, they're known as Perth Derbies, and the history goes way back. When you look at the fact that there have been 329 games played, it's so close. West Perth have won 159, East Perth 164, and there have been 6 games drawn. And this season, if you put it under the microscope, it's been 2-1 West Perth's way. In round 1, it was West Perth who got the job done pretty convincingly by 73 points. In round 11, it was East Perth's turn. They won the match by 19 points. And then in round 19 of 24 home and away matches, again the Falcons by 30 points. Okay, well, there's the West Perth lineup, Judgy, and they've had a couple of weeks to prepare.
Yeah, they have, and look, I mean, you look at their side, there's some good experience here. I mean, Hunt, obviously the leading player down the back. You've got Hutchings, who'll play through the midfield there. He's a great accumulator of possessions. Salisic, a great leader also. Strike sets up play from down the back. You've got the experience of Van Burlo, AFL experience of Van Burlo, and the toughness of Gordian. So, I mean, they're really important players for West Perth.
Well, the excitement's been building for the team, as well as the coach all week, and he's still excited. Bill Monahan, here he is earlier with Rod Willett.
Oh look, we're really looking forward to it. It's been a really exciting couple of weeks for us. The young boys have really embraced it, and the older, wiser heads have just taken it in their stride. So, but we're not overly fussed about the weather. The weather is the weather. We can't control that. So we've had a couple of really good games in the wet this year. So we're confident we can handle the conditions, and we've shown that late in games we're also solid. So we're expecting to go down to the wire.
The supporters are up and about?
Oh, they are. I think a lot's been made of the rivalry in the last week, and the supporters have loved it. But for us, it's business as usual, and we can't get caught up.
So the supporters are up and about. So too are the players. Jason Salicic, the captain, leading his team on to Subiaco Oval. A terrific moment for all of the players. No matter whether you've been there before or not, Jason Salicic certainly has. It is a big moment for all of the West Perth players this afternoon. If we look at the East Perth lineup, Judgy, it's been so impressive over the last couple of weeks.
Well, it has been, and one of the things they've done the last couple of weeks, Phil, is they had 32 scoring shots in the first final and then 36 again last week, so that forward line's really strong. Smith didn't have a great first final, was very good last week. You had Swan in there and Sweet, and they're very capable goal scorers, and Cripps has been a good goal scorer for them in the first 2 finals as well, so he's an important player. You go to Lee in the midfield, he just accumulates the ball. He's just a great getter of the ball, big possessions all the time. He's very good. And Blaine Wilson has been terrific down the back as a strong defender. So a good balance here. Oakley Nichols is a good running defender as well. So, I mean, good blend there for East Perth, and I really think they're going to be tough to beat today.
Well, for the coach, it's all about keeping the lid on it and keeping the emotions under control. And Brian Dawson is the embodiment of that. Here he is with Spinner.
Look, we at the start of the final series, we said to the players, look, it'll get a bit harder week by week, and it does. So we've been conscious of just trying to take any excessive emotion out of the equation this week, and keep them pretty calm and relaxed.
What do you see as being the decisive factor in today's grand final?
I think the midfield contest, generally that's where you get the impetus to, get an ascendancy on the opposition. So our midfield's important. We think we've got some good forward options, and we've got some backs that can, close up when need be. So if we can generate enough footy midfield and give our forwards enough supply, hopefully we can get a winning score.
They certainly have been able to kick winning scores of late Craig Wolfe, the veteran, one of the veterans of the competition, and so well respected around the East Perth Football Club. And of course we wish him well this afternoon. Wouldn't it be great for a player of his ilk to finish off his great career after all these games in a grand final and take it beyond that into a premiership? As we look at some of the key figures in this afternoon's match, you look at Luke Tedesco there, Judgy. He's been out for a few weeks, the cornerstone of West Perth's defence on often.
Well, and I think that indicates how important he is that they brought him back in after missing for a few weeks. So he sets up play well. He's pretty steady down the back, and so he's going to be important inclusion in the team today.
We look at Craig Wolf. We spoke about him a moment ago. We've mentioned, and I know I've said it myself, often the barometer of this East Perth lineup.
Oh, well, he's tough as nails. I mean, he was involved in an incident last week which went before the tribunal was cleared or got a reprimand. So he's playing today. It would have been sad if he hadn't have been. I mean, he's just a terrific competitor. Leads from the front, and if blokes can't follow his lead, then I don't know how you couldn't.
In my mind, Judgy, if West Perth are going to get over the line today, Mark Hutchings has just got to have something of a blinder. He was best on ground against Claremont in the second semi-final, and so much hinges on his performance this afternoon.
Well, he gets so much of the ball at this level, and look, it doesn't matter. Even if he gets tagged, players run with him. He's got a great engine. He can run players off their feet, or he can certainly run them to their limits. And so he's got a great ability to find the footy, and so he's important today. If West Perth are going to win the game, or at least really challenge East Perth, I believe, he's got to have a big one. I agree with you.
In East Perth, Paul Johnson, he was runner-up in the Sandover medal, one of the favourites going into the medal count, and his form in recent weeks, all season if you like, has been ominous.
He was terrific last week. I mean, a player of his size, when you consider himself and Lysette, and then you throw Smith in forward, they've got three really powerful big men. The weather could be a thing that impacts on that today, depending on what we get. We've had a couple of showers through in quite blustery conditions. That can affect the taller players, but Johnson's such an athletic player, got good speed at ground level and recovers well from contests, so he's going to have an impact, I reckon.
We talked about Wolfie, another veteran on the ground, Jason Salisic, a skipper, another one who just leads by the front.
Oh, yeah, he has. Look, I love him as a player. I think he's one of those real favourites of mine that watch him play, commits his body all the time, just hard at it, and leads from the front.
So the players are ready, taking their positions for the national anthem. The crowd is in, and all is in readiness now ahead of the start of the match for the national anthem. A good crowd starting to filter in. Perhaps because of the weather, not quite the crowd that we had hoped, but a lot of people still streaming into Subiaco Oval this afternoon. And some great names, former champions as well. On the way in, I bumped into West Perth's Wally Price and also Mel Wynn, and I had a chat with him. Of course, one of West Perth's great players of the past and premiership heroes. Let's go now to the national anthem.
How good is this at Perth Derby, the last day of the year? Ladies and gentlemen, a big day ahead. This is going to be the 7th time these two teams have taken part in a WAFL Grand Final. And I'll tell you what, 2002, we've just seen it on the screen there, the last time East Perth were triumphant by 60 points, completing a hat-trick of premierships. And it's a very special day, an East Perth and North Melbourne legend, and of course Perth as well, celebrating his 70th birthday. Would you welcome one of the legends of our game, an icon in WA, Barry Cable, to Patterson's today. Happy birthday, Barry. Bringing out the WAFL Premiership Cup so we can have a look at it. And the playing squads and footy departments from both football clubs can have a bit of a look and just hope in a couple of hours' time it'll be theirs. And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, would you please welcome and please stand for the national anthem, sung today by Chris Murphy.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea, our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
So the crowd is building, the excitement as it does ahead of the bounce down on grand final day, really getting to fever pitch. A terrific atmosphere in here. There's the toss of the coin, and Jason Salicic has won the toss, kicking to the right of screen. Let's go to the boundary line where we have Rod Willett and Michael Genovese.
Yes, thanks very much, Phil. Well, what a great day it is. Two old foes, East Perth, West Perth, here for the grand final, and it's sure to be a beauty. The weather is not fantastic, but it's 18.2 degrees at the moment. The humidity's at 58%. And the winds are from the west at 17 kilometres an hour. So it probably will get stronger. There'll be a little bit more rain this afternoon, but it's sure to be a fantastic game and a day where you've got to keep their head over the footy, and it'll be no place for the faint-hearted, that's for sure. Well, Jenna's East Perth, they're probably almost a different side from what they were 4 weeks ago with the added Eagles players. There's been a lot said about that, but they're up against a fantastic team. West Perth, I think they've got the second best defensive unit going around for the year, and they're going to clash today. The rain's probably going to keep coming this afternoon, but it's certainly a day where you can't worry about the weather. You just have to adapt to it as best you possibly can. And also, did you hear the roar when West Perth come out?
Absolutely. There's definitely a few more West Perth supporters here at Subiaco Oval, but it looks like East Perth are going to be kicking with that wind to start with, which is favouring to the city end. So we'll see how both teams adjust to the weather conditions. I wouldn't be surprised to see Billy Monaghan doing a bit of a rain dance prior to this one, because East Perth have that advantage with a lot of taller players. So I think the rain would neutralise that and even things up here at Subiaco Oval today.
Well, as we know too, it does swirl around quite a bit. So when you're on the other side of the oval, it feels like it's probably a 2-goal breeze, and then when you're on this side, it probably feels like it is as well. So we know here it swirls around, but certainly, guys, it's going to be a fantastic game.
Yes, there is absolutely no doubt about that, as we welcome Clint Wilden and also Brad Wirra. And Bradley, just first of all to you, that toss of the coin, interestingly enough, that Jason Salicic has kicked into it.
Yeah, it was an interesting one for mine, but you like to get runs on the board early in these big games, but obviously they're going with a plan. He would have spoken to his coaches and his senior players, and that's what they've decided to do.
So here we are, 2013 grand final. This is what it's all about, and here's Clint Wilden.
Thank you, Phil. Welcome, everyone. The Premiership decider is underway. The Falcons up against the Royals. Cunin wins the first tap. Out after it, Guadnin immediately tackled. Umpire says we'll ball it up. Solid stuff to start with. Let's go downstairs to Rod Willett.
Yeah, thanks, Clint. We got Shane Nelson. Won't he be keen to get on out there? Luke Tedesco, Ray Bartholomew and Stephen Patente on the bench for West Perth.
So ball still bouncing around in the centre square. Morton tried to get his arms free. Couldn't do so. Michael Genovese has the East Perth bench.
Yeah, Aaron Sweet starting on the bench. Also Cam Grover, the late replacement for Freddie Clutterbuck, whose hamstring didn't quite come up. Marcus White and Arthur Bennell, the other bench player for East Perth.
Real blow for East Perth with Freddie Clutterbuck unavailable after injuring the hamstring last week. Again, rough stuff, tight and tough in the middle. Once more, umpire Stuart Parry forced to throw the ball aloft.
I tell you what, if you're going to kick into the breeze, you've got to be fierce early here, West Perth.
Johnson won it down, got it on to Morton. Hurried kick came from Lee. Defensive mark at right half back, gathered by Strike of the Falcons. So Strike will go down the line. Finds a teammate, crisp, uncontested mark. Wants an option, finds one towards right half forward, carries over the top. There's a free kick spotted. It's going against Salicic. Here's the replay. Maldenis doing his best to buy that one as East Perth went into attack at the wing. Taken though by Strike, sent it back forward for the Falcons. Maldenis with the defensive mark going set off. Play on was the call. He's wrapped up, holding the ball.
Just nerves, Judgy. Just really needed to go back and relax, didn't he?
Yep.
Wanted to play on.
So Dan Burlow with the free kick into the pocket, a little bit risky. East Perth had some numbers there, but it was a beautifully weighted and directed pass by Van Burlow, and Kerr has taken the mark. He's going to have a rather muddy start to his run-up here. The turf is soggy and churned right there, but it certainly has drained well on the surface proper, considering all of the rain that we've had. So Rowan Kerr, he's a skillful goal kicker. That's a great kick. Oh, and he celebrates. What a great first goal by West Perth and Rowan Kerr. First of the 2013 Grand Final. Well, Judgy, if you value stats, a lot of people do, there were 5 ball-ups before the first kick.
Yeah, no, and look, I mean, they were really strong on the ball, but that's what you need to do. If Jason Salicic has chosen to kick into the wind, a couple of things need to happen. You need to be really fierce in your attack on the ball, because unless he's a Weather Bureau expert, how will we know what the weather's going to do later? You'd be taking the advantage early when it's a little bit drier now. There's a bit of rain coming in as I'm saying it. So to kick into the breeze is a big risk for mine. If they can play like that early and even lead at quarter time, that's a winning move by him, perhaps.
20th goal of the season for Rowan Kerr in his 20th WAFL game. Johnson wins the tap.
Play on in the side.
Lee couldn't do much with it. Ball spills down again. Solid tackling coming from West Perth. Aggressive stuff in the middle of the ground.
It's out. Play on.
They get it out as the rain really does start to tumble down. Lee tackled by Guadnan. Umpire elects to let them play. Now he'll ball it up.
Thank you. Let him go,
It is
Jared.
pouring down here at Subiaco.
Clint, this is not going to help East Perth with the breeze in this first quarter.
No, it's going to be a real, if it's like this regularly during the day, it's just a game for knock-on, surge-on sort of footy. Nothing special. Don't try and be too clever. Just keep getting the ball moving forward in whatever way, shape or form you can.
Crisp getting the free kick. In the back, the call. He'll put it inside the forward 50 for the Falcons. Big group of players. Solid punch came from Derricks. Runs towards the boundary line for a throw-in. That was a little bit unnecessary.
Just silly, Clint. Really silly. Position that the ball is in. Just undisciplined from Mellington.
So Anderson takes the free kick. Pack of players at left half back. Brown had it knocked out of his hands. Wolf emerges with it. Kicks around the body. Just long enough to be a mark, and Cripps has it at left half back.
What form he has been in of recent weeks. The rain really sheeting down there for a while, but it's just abated as Cripps gets his kick in up over the wing and conspiring together. Hunt and a teammate there in Rasmussen, or Manning it might have been, just to work that ball over the boundary line. So Cody Manning, we saw on screen a moment ago, picking up Jared Oakley-Nichols in this first quarter. Johnson puts the right fist into it. Getting to the drop of the ball, there was Nelson. The hand pass, a little bit risky. Jones was taken in a tackle, but released a handball looking for Tedesco. And I think the handball, Brad, is something that's going to be used sparingly on a day like today.
Especially early, one at the most, get a kick. As Judgy said, let's get a bit of yardage.
So left half forward flank for East Perth. Johnson tried to control it. Lee couldn't pick the ball up. It's got very slippery very quickly. Bit of surface water as the umpire has a good look at the stoppage and says that there was only one decision to be made, and that is a ball up.
Hutchinson and Lee are both playing each other.
Van Berlo did some ruck work. Manning couldn't control it. Koonen's boot gained about 15 valuable metres, and Crisp anticipated it brilliantly. That wasn't a good effort. Found the man on his mark. Now they're under pressure. Manning gathers it, gave it to Black, who was held without the footy. And Aaron Black, I think the holding might have actually been against Black, but Nelson has it. He goes short to Tedesco. So some controversy surrounding Tedesco. He's been injured. He's back in the lineup. Certainly the supporters like to see that. That was a good-looking kick. Finding his way to the front there was Mark Hutchings. Goes up to the half-forward flank, through the hands there of Fraser. Gathering it was Jones. He couldn't get his boot to the footy. Still the ball in dispute. Anderson close to the boundary line, taken over by Mellington. There's a bit of feeling between those two, and there'll be a ball, the ball thrown in right full forward for West Perth.
Well, this will be a battle to watch. These two, Millington and Anderson today. Some early indications or anything to go by. Johnson again, he's been dominant in the ruck contest, but West Perth get a hand pass away. Salicic tried to find Hutchings, was tackled immediately. Lee put his head over the football, got tackled, ball jars free again. Tough stuff continues around the packs. They'll ball it up inside the Falcons attacking 50. Nelson, one of the youngsters, just 20 years of age, played every game for the Falcons this season. Cunin at the back, won it down this time. Picking it up, Mellington tries to pinpoint a target. Crisp got to it, couldn't mark. Maldenis back there. Now Wilson, the young Eagle, under real pressure. Got a kick away, slipping over Grover. Slat forward again by Millington. Comes to Bartholomew, puts it high up in the air for the Falcons. Underneath it, Selwood, off his hands. Anderson did well to get a kick away. It bounces into space. Good chase on out there. Brown met solidly by Vanel. Picked up by Wolf. Hand pass to Payne. Tackled.
got it, hands free, knocked down again. Seld will kick down the outer side for the Royals. Goes over the top of Smith. Chance to run onto it for Seal. Seal will gather, will chip short. Likes it, must go. He'll pick up the footy and he will. He slams it into the second tier. Scores level. Early stages of the opening term. Nearly 8 minutes gone. It's West Perth 1 straight 6 and now the Royals 1 straight 6.
Yeah, they just got some space there, East Perth on the outer side, able to create the loose player, which then put the West Perth defence under fierce pressure. And of course, consequently, there was a player on the end of the line, which is Lysette, that got the goal. But it was created by some good contest on the outer half-back flank there.
Wolf and Payne, the two individuals you're talking about, Ken, the want of East Perth, their senior players, we saw it firsthand there. You know, a lot spoken about Craig Wolf, but his want today is going to be a huge factor in East Perth winning this game.
So back in the middle of the ground, Johnson and Coonan.
Here we go.
To contest the ball up. Wadman and Sweet, a bit of pushing and shoving just adjacent to Coonan, who starts his run in. Comes off his head in the end. Sweet got a hand pass, or a semblance thereof. Lee puts his head down. The umpire says you ducked. Bartholomew applying the pressure from above, and again the umpire will board it up. We're going to see plenty of this today, Bradley.
Yes, and as I spoke about, the want of the team is the one that's going to win these contests in here.
Coonan reaches over the top. Two number 19s in battle. It comes to Black. Squeezed to kick away to the half-forward line. Fraser first there for East Perth. Goes back to the wing, surrounded by East Perth players. It's Bartholomew who takes the mark on his chest. Southern side of the ground. If you've just tuned in, West Perth won the toss, kicked to the western end of the ground. Target was Mellington. Fraser got the crumbs. Hand pass over there to Swift. He got it onto Seal. He's almost back on the right half-back flank. Kicks over the wing. Good contest there by Smith. Wolf crumbing it. Tried to get a hand pass to Burnell. That went astray. Tedesco picked it up. Hand pass to Hunt. And Hunt, a bit of a tumbler, but it's going to be effective enough. Trapped nicely by Guadnan. Now, Guadnan's got some space. Weighs his options up. Goes into the pocket and Kerr takes the mark. He's already kicked one from the opposite pocket. And Rowan Kerr has shown that he's a skillful goal kicker this season.
The umpire's only out by about 5 metres there from where he's marked it. He's put it where he's finished up.
Well, I don't think he's accounted for the slippery ground. He slipped about 8 metres.
I mean, that is where he's finished up. He's marked that ball 5 metres further this way.
So Kerr, a right footer, he still should be able to steer this one through. Getting the shoulder from the 3-tier grandstand. Kerr comes in. This one he's pushed right across the face, and he's just managed to sneak it through for a behind, but with that behind they take the lead. 1-1 West Perth, East Perth 1 straight goal.
Pretty important 5 metres or 3 metres there.
I'm telling you it is. Yep. On a day like today, wind, all those sort of things, and it'd be swirling down that end. Mightn't be favouring anywhere, but it swirls around a bit there. That's a bit tough on him.
Wayne Wilson, the kicking, in his 50th game. The mark was dropped by Selwood. Allows Coonan to get it away. Guadnan to Nelson. Nelson kicks on goal. Nelson misses. Across the face. 1-2-8 to 1 straight 6.
Irrespective, Clint, of what the Breeze is doing, West Perth getting their hands on the footy. They're doing plenty of attacking. And so Wilson with the footy. The young Eagle finds his target too. Good kick over distance. Forward they go. Short pass from Grover has found Wolf. Wolf continuing down the line. Had to be accurate. There was nothing much in that, but he's been able to find Cripps. So he's on centre wing proper, southern side, going down the flank. Ball had a bit of carry. Now the whistle has gone. It's a holding decision going against East Perth and Dan Hunt. Reliable veteran defender for the Falcons. Right on the defensive 50. Hunt. Going down the wing, Fowler. Got a finger on it, I think. Just an important one too, because that was headed for out of bounds on the full.
They've been competitive so far, West Perth, which is what they need to be if they're kicking into a bit of a breeze here. Got to maintain it.
Stay out of his back. Let him run at
Hit outs now, it's 7 apiece. Both rucks have a touch this time. Johnson dominated it early. He'll get the footy now. Strong tackle came from Manning. Ball spilled free. Chance now for the Falcons as they push it down the outer side. Umpire spots a holding decision. So Patenti, the former Swan Districts players, with it for the Falcons. Kicks West Perth inside, attacking 50. Millington has been paid the mark.
No hold on the lead? No. Don't hold or block? That's where you finished.
I think it's Wilson this time.
Right on the line, Blaine, okay. Josh!
Very skillful player, Josh Millington. 32 goals, 27 this season.
This will give us a really good indication, Judgy, of how the breeze is over on that far side. Kicking from about 53 metres.
It'll take a thumping kick. It'll take a really accurate one. Millington puts it towards goal. That is terrific. What an effort from the Falcons. And rightly so, they're delighted by that kick from Josh Millington. And they stretch their lead out to 8 points. They're 2-2-14. East Perth 1 straight 6. We've gone about 13 and a bit minutes in the opening turn.
Well, that was a really good kick from Millington. Just drifted it back on the breeze. As I said before, it gets a bit swirly down that particular end. It's not actually favouring the end that East Perth are kicking at, where it is probably from about the middle of the ground on. So that's just swirly. He's curved that back beautifully into the breeze. That's an important goal. And 4 scoring shots to 1 when you've chosen to kick into the breeze is a fantastic start by West Perth.
They'd be wrapped, absolutely wrapped, Bill Monaghan and his match committee.
8 inside 50s to 1 as Lysette and Coonan go at it. Here's a chance now again for Cody Manning. He's important in the clinches. He gets the hand pass to Bartholomew from just forward of the centre circles. Bartholomew straight down the corridor. Mellington was there again, couldn't control the mark. This time it's Blaine Wilson. Chips the ball up to a centre half back. Not a great kick. Gets past a few. Bartholomew grabs it and gives it to Brown. His grubbered kick is mopped up by Mel Dennis, who squirts it out wide toward the boundary line. Sweet's got some space out there. Not a lot of room on his right-hand side, and the intended kick run down and smothered brilliantly by the opposite number 5, Jordan Jones.
He's a bit casual there, Sweet. More urgency.
He didn't have too many options, but the desperation of West Perth is manifestly obvious at the moment. Lysette wins the tap. Manning provides support for Hutchings once and then twice. He gets a hand pass then off to Black. Black to Bartholomew. You heard the call. It was touched. Patenti combined with Mellington a moment ago. This time with Van Berlo. Here's a chance for Kerr to kick his second. Well, it was a little bit clumsy, a slippery ball, and swooping on the opportunity was Rowan Kerr. West Perth flags are waving, and more importantly, the goal umpires flags, because West Perth have got 3. 3 goals, 2-20. And this is how it happened, Brad.
Great start, as we've spoken about, for West Perth. Just going with a bit of old-fashioned yardage footy. I'm not sure whether Kerr's come off the interchange or not there, but to him to have that much space, Judgy, inside 50, 30 metres out, there's a fair bit of ski rope defence going on from East Perth at the moment.
Well, they'd be disappointed with that. Yeah, I mean, he should not have been allowed to be in that position by himself. He was. He's converted, and it just keeps the impetus going for West Perth.
2 goals, 1. He could have 3 first quarter goals.
The Royals, the favourites, under real early pressure. Lysette wins the tap in the middle. Taking it, Bennell. Got a hurried kick away. Seal has paid the mark. He'll play on quickly. He'll put it towards full forward. This will be a decent battle. Johnson's up there. He brings it to ground, the big fella. Got a hand pass away to Swan. Hunt with a terrific tackle. Sees him over the boundary line for a throw-in.
Johnson's second efforts for a big bloke are first class. He's competed in the air there, and he was first back on the ground.
No escape for Michael Swan that time.
Much quicker than you think, Johnson.
It's come back into play. Johnson was just a little bit over-enthusiastic. Gives away the free kick.
Clear it out. Play out.
So this is Rodder. The on-defensive 50 for West Perth. Numbers with East Perth. Anderson brings it to ground. Lee, hand pass to Seal. Got past one. Popped the hand pass away to Morton. Now to Selwood. Got the kick away under real pressure. Up into the left forward pocket. Going early was Kerr. And that'll be a free kick against him.
Too early, jump too early, interfered. Okay.
Heard the call from the umpire. And this is an opportunity for a player who's been in terrific form of late, Jamie Cripps.
So 2 very good finals.
been
3 goals last week and 5 the week before.
Underestimated for mine by the two clubs. I reckon Swans and Claremont didn't do their homework on Jamie Cripps, and he got them in very important games. He's a quality player who'll play a lot of footy for West Coast.
15 games so far for the Eagles. It's a tight angle from deep in the left forward pockets. He misses.
They said move there, mate.
13 points the difference. The Falcons in front, 3-2 to 1-1.
And it's been a good start too by the Falcons, having won the toss, kicking into the breeze. Strike to himself and then straight down the middle of Subiaco Oval. Gets it to the back edge of the centre square. Rodder was the target. Smith gathers the footy, gives it to Lee. Lee fires an hand pass off to Sweet. Sweet to Wolf. Tries to get another one on. That was one too many. Chance now for West Perth. Didn't handle the ball cleanly. Picking it up was Lysette to Payne. He tried to swing the ball across his body. Slippery ball, and it's gone out of bounds on the full. And they're letting him know about it too, the West Perth defenders.
Well, I'm just a bit surprised the strike went down the middle of the ground then with that kick in from full back. You don't take that option. You've got to go wider in these on a day like this and with the wind favouring that end.
Yeah, Tedesco did. Payne got it off hands, gave it to Lee, and Lee steers a pass down the boundary line deep into the pocket, but it has been marked by Grover. Now, Grover's come into the side. Freddie Clutterbuck was omitted with a hamstring injury he sustained late in the preliminary final last week against Claremont, so unfortunate for Freddie, but Grover has an opportunity deep in the pocket. This is kickable with this breeze, as Grover makes it interesting, but it was always narrow, so a behind to East Perth. 19 minutes gone in the first quarter of the 2013 Grand Final, and it's West Perth leading by 12 points.
So Tedesco does go to the pocket, and Rasmussen marks for the Falcons. Elects to play on. That's a poor kick. Turned it straight over. Grover's kick was smothered. Wolf couldn't pick it up. Chance to clear for the Falcons. Wadman got it from Salisic. Now it's Hutchings down the outer side. In front, not quite the mark, but the free kick will be paid for a push. Good effort from Rodder. Definitely against Oakley Nichols in the back, so on centre wing. Nicholas Rodder, 23rd game in the WAFL. Poor kick allows the former East Perth captain in Swan to pick it up and thump it towards right half forward. Back there's Strike, under pressure, sees it over the boundary line, but it's deliberate. Strike can't believe it. The call was made very early from umpire Stuart Parry. Opportunity for the Royals.
You have to be more subtle than that.
Cripps tried to find Selwood, couldn't. Brown gathers the bouncing footy, thumps it down the outer side. Salisic wants players to run forward, pauses for a moment, spots up a target. Attempt to find Crisp. Getting back there will be Fraser for the Royals. Hands it on to Wilson, ran himself into trouble, and a hand pass away. That will be a throw.
Well, it was out of bounds on the full with the hand pass. You can see that the intention was
not that. It was just a poor execution.
Yeah.
Good play by Anderson. He was actually 3 metres over the boundary.
Yeah, he thought it out pretty well. Lysette, Coonan, maybe Coonan in the end, got it down towards Mellington, looking for a push. The umpire having none of it.
Been really lively, Mellington. Obviously gave away that free kick, but has really been up and about for the Falcons.
Yeah, and he's not the only one as well. Kerr with a couple of goals. Salisic seems to be in good form. Hutchings has had a bit of it as well as Manning. Lysette in front, or palmed it down, but only as far as Hutchings. Oh, he anticipated brilliantly, Mark Hutchings, which is one of his great skills. And he has got some set of skills, Mark Hutchings. And another goal to West Perth. Look at it in replay, Brad. It was just a double palm there by Lysette, but Hutchings just anticipated brilliantly.
Did it perfectly. Cardinal sin from the defender there, not sure, couldn't get it on camera from the East Perth replay, but he wasn't on the dangerous side. If you're going to kick a goal inside 30, you've got to be between your opponent and the goalpost to defence. Allowed Hutchings to get on the far side. Good play, Mark Hutchings, quality player.
I reckon Lee's playing on him. I reckon they've gone head-to-head, Lee and him.
No chopping. Go on the line though.
On the bounce, both rucks had a tap. Nelson got a hurried kick away. It won't be a mark. Punch forward by Maldenis. Payne was being held. They'll take the advantage. Getting run down with Selwood, just got the kick away. Grover goes back to Fraser, kicks towards right half forward. Spoil came from the back, Seal dived on top of the footy. He'll get the free kick for in the back. Matt Seal, one of the very experienced East Perth players, gets up, puts it long, he wants Johnson! Was strong enough to stand there and take the mark. The pressure came late. The big fella in East Perth colours was up to the task.
Just lazy from big Chris Kernan there. You can see him in the foreground just coming across there, on the background, sorry, 19 there. When all three talls are down there, Judgy, they've all got to go one-on-one, don't they? Because they're just so powerful in the air. That's Lycett, Smith and Johnson.
The last time West Perth went forward, Kernan was happy to run nice and hard forward to get it and run just as hard back.
Big moment for the Royals. Johnson's kick is a goal. They needed it early on, East Perth, and they've responded. 12 points the margin again, 4-2. The Falcons, 2-2, East Perth.
Yeah, if you want to run hard forward, Kernan, when the last time they went forward, he was really sprinted hard to get forward to try and hopefully get on the end of one. He didn't get it, but he'd still done that work going that way. When it goes back the other way, you've got to be just as prepared to work hard to get back and pick an opposition ruckman up or an opposition tall up. And it was almost like he was just arrived a bit late for the cab there.
Andrew Strikes had a horror couple of minutes, giving away a couple of free kicks. Not too sure about that last one. I thought he made a genuine effort to drag Matt Seal around. But the umpire found against him. So the margin 12 points. Johnson wins the tap. Van Berlo's had a good start for the match. Hooks it high across his body. Out comes Manning. Good contest. Equally well done by White. In fact, better done by Marcus White. He got the hand pass off to Morton. Morton there to Burnell. He was tackled brilliantly by Manning. Swooping on the footy now, West Perth. Kerr gets a hand pass off. They go forward, taking it low to the ground. Mellington off to Guadnan, runs into trouble, shrugs it off. Guadnan's kick, high, a floater, leaping down there. Salisic, crumbing it at the front of the pack. There was Derricks. High kick, back from whence it came. Van Berlo the puncher. Guadnan's hand pass, taken though out of midair by Morton to Oakley Nichols. Here they go, East Perth now. Cadwallader running forward of the play. Kicks it to a one-on-one, and brilliantly to the advantage there of his forward, Dan Hunt. West Perth couldn't do much at all. Josh Smith, with the strength of body, just took advantage of the kick from Cadwallader, which was a good one, and he'll shoot from directly in front.
He needed to get that to him, Cadwallader, because Burnell was by himself on the inside, who could have actually ran and carried it. He was just sort of 5 or 6 metres inside him, on his own, would have been able to run, carry, and probably run it nearly to he'd have a shot on goal, or given the one over the top, the Joe the Goose. Yeah, but they chose to kick. It's going to pay off. Josh Smith's marked it, and you think he'd convert from here.
Accepted the Bernie Naylor medal on Monday night at the presentation of the Sandover medal. We'll see highlights of that during our halftime at the footy package this afternoon. Smith, as he ought to, the premier goal scorer in the competition, kicks another one for East Perth. So they now have 3. It's tightening up on the scoreboard, kicking the last 2. West Perth 4 goals to 26. East Perth 3-2-20. The margin now just a straight goal, 25 3/4 minutes into the first quarter.
Well, when you've kicked 4 into the breeze to 1, and it's nearly 25 minutes into the quarter, there could be a tendency to just sit back and think the job's done, take your foot off the accelerator, the opposition come back and kick a couple. If East Perth grabs another one now before quarter time, I mean, they've really undone all their good work, West Perth, Mike.
Their weapons are just starting to wake up, aren't they, East Perth? Johnson, Smith, just starting to get involved in the game.
2 19s go at it. They shared the touch. Came down to Van Berlo. Got it away to Guadnan. Hurried kick into space on the northern wing. Ball bounces towards the boundary line. Jones went over the top of it. Cadwallader gathered. Got it away. Morton. Shrugged one. Kick was meant for Selwood. Stealing it though was Black. Kicks back towards half forward. Coming in from the side, Patenti couldn't mark but had time to regather. Got a hand pass away. Retreating was Black for the Falcons. Has to stop for a moment. Short hand pass to Bartholomew. 1-2 again. Now it's with Black. Moving it to Nelson. They go back once more to Brown. Kicking towards right half forward. Punch came from the back from the Royals. Good work from Morton. Got Van Berlo out of the way. Got it away to Grover. They'll go beyond defensive 50 through White into the middle of the ground, sliding out Smith. He takes the mark. Stands at centre half back, pauses as players run forward of him. He'll pop it out towards Anderson. Ball went over his head. Anderson could gather, was under pressure as he got the kick away. 2-on-1 against the Royals for a moment. It's allowed to bounce. Swan hit it with real courage and determination. Sweet picks it up now to Seal. Puts it into the right forward pocket. Wanted Cripps. The punch came from Jones. Desperate stuff required. It'll be a throw-in deep in the right forward pocket.
Boys, Mark Crisp just coming from the ground there after that heavy knee in the back that he got from the East Perth player. We'll keep an eye on him, but he's in the hands of the trainers at the moment.
Gee, some heroics there by Jordan Jones. Smith doing the ruck work. This time it's Hutchings sharking it again. He was immediately taken to the tackle.
Tap down.
So right full forward for East Perth. That breeze even seems to have strengthened again over the last few minutes. Smith, brilliantly down to Seal, who gets onto his left boot. Scores are level. Matt Seal is having some first quarter in the grand final. Done some good work around the ground, contributed to the first Royals goal. Now he's got one of his own, and it is 4 goals, 2 apiece, 28 and a half minutes gone.
Yeah, well, as I said, the concern from a West Perth point of view is that 3-4 minutes ago it was 4 goals to 1. Now it's 4 goals each, and that's just can't lead sides in like this, into the game in a short period of time like that. I mean, they're a good side, East Perth, lots of experience, good senior players who will lead and instruct and direct and do all those sort of things, and they've just let them off the hook here. West Perth, great start. East Perth is well and truly back in the game and got the momentum at the moment.
They've kicked 3 goals in 5 minutes. The Royals to draw things level. Bounce certainly favoured Cunin. So able to get it down. Nelson smothered the kick from Oakley Nichols, did well, but it comes out again for the Falcons. This is Bartholomew. Ball wouldn't sit for him. Eventually he's able to pick it up, and then he puts it out of bounds on the full. Shake of the head from Ray Bartholomew.
Well, it's funny how the whole thing, the game can change in a short period of time, can't it? I mean, they've been pretty good. They've been pretty steady so far, West Perth. Just let perhaps just dropped off with their intensity, and then you see Bartholomew kick one out on the full like that under no pressure.
So Derricks takes the free. Big pack on centre wing. Going up. Lysett got the first touch. Came down to strike. Lysett tackles him. I'll ball it up. Swan heavily involved, as you'd often expect.
It's 5 minutes, wasn't it, Ken? 5 minutes of momentum swing to East Perth. Some of their big blokes getting involved. Smith, Johnson, Lysett.
Lysett's third man in. Royals get the free kick anyway.
He's starting to work into the game a bit here, Johnson.
So Johnson, long kick inside the attacking 50. Players crash into each other. Cripps gathers it right to Sweet. Did he keep it in? Umpires wait and pause, and eventually they'll make the decision. It will be a throw-in. It took a long time to get that call.
I think it might have been the field umpire.
Yeah, I was going to say, was it the field umpire?
Boundary up. That's Stuart Parry, the field umpire, who made the call.
Getting double pay, is he, today?
Yeah, the boundary umpire was happy to let it go.
I actually thought it was the boundary umpire's decision.
They'll get the opportunity to spin the ball back into play now. Cross half forward. Third man up, Van Berlo thumps it forward for the Falcons. Oakley Nichols couldn't take it cleanly. Might get another opportunity. Tapped it between the legs of Nelson, then socketed it forward. Johnson put it into the path of pain. Now to Selwood. Kicks inside the forward 50 front position. Smith. Spoil came from Hunt. Comes down to Seal. He turns and snaps. He's got his second. They've kicked 4 straight, the Royals. They're in front at the 31 and a bit minute mark of the opening term.
Yeah, well, they've been very good, East Perth, and as I alluded to just before, I mean, West Perth would have been very satisfied until the last 5 or 6 minutes of this game here. That they'd done a pretty good job in this first quarter, opting to kick into the wind. But East Perth have come back really strongly. They've just really got some momentum happening for them now, and in actual fact, they wouldn't want a quarter time siren. They want to keep going the way they're going. Whereas I think West Perth will be screaming out for him. Billy Monahan's probably got his finger on the button at the moment.
Well, I think they're going to get their wish because 32 minutes have gone now, Ken. So
we've got the hourglass again, Philip.
Yep. Here's the chance for Hutchings to get the clearance for West Perth. They've been good at that in the first quarter, but their lead has ebbed away and disappeared. Here's Manning with the footy, had it for a while, got it off to Patenti. Hurried kick from Patenti, floats it to centre half forward. Selwood, Morton protected the area and then took a clever mark. Now he's off as the siren goes to end an emotion-charged first quarter here at Subiaco Oval. The grand final of 2013. East Perth, 5 goals to 32, leading West Perth 4-2-26. It's the Royals by 1 straight goal. Rowan Kerr, he's a skillful goal kicker. That's a great kick. Oh, and he celebrates. What a great first goal by West Perth and Rowan Kerr.
Chance to run onto it for Seal. Seal will gather, will chip short, likes it, must go. He'll pick up the footy and he will. He slams it into the second tier.
A couple of goals. Salisic seems to be in good form. Hutchings has had a bit of it as well. As Manning, Lysette in front, or palmed it down, but only as far as Hutchings. Oh, he anticipated brilliantly, Mark Hutchings, which is one of his great skills. Well, West Perth were the team that settled best. They got early goals on the board, but in about 5 or 10 minutes of a relentless physical football, which has been the trademark of East Perth, especially since this finals campaign began. They changed things around, turned it on its head, and now they lead by a goal at quarter time. Judgy and Brad, you would expect them to have led after West Perth won the toss and kicked into the breeze, but they made the early running and looked good, West Perth, early, didn't they?
Oh, they were very good. And look, I thought the opting to kick into the breeze, we questioned that at the start. I thought after 25 minutes, they've made a good choice here. They've done this well. They've played really committed and contested footy. It wasn't special, some of the stuff, just managed to get the ball going forward. Perhaps there was a bit of a feeling within the group as well that, mate, we've done a good job here. Well, the minute that happened, or if that's crept into their minds at all, East Perth came home at 1,000,000 miles an hour then and got the next 4 goals. And they had all the momentum going then. And, I mean, West Perth would have been... Bill Monahan wanted this quarter-time break just to readjust and get his boys back thinking in the right manner and getting back with the same intensity, because East Perth well and truly lifted theirs, and that certainly got them right back in the game.
No doubt. About the 20-minute mark, I think, which I wrote down, there was a change, wasn't there? A couple of point kick-ins, some decisions from just down back that probably weren't the right ones with what they were doing, kicking into a breeze, and at the stage of the game, 4 goals to 1. They really needed just to bottle it up, consolidate. Be interested to see from our boundary riders how strong that breeze is, but there was a huge momentum change about the 20-minute mark, and some of their key players, East Perth and mine, really started to get going.
All right, let's start with... Clint, we'll start with the goal scorers and have a look at the West Perth side of the ledger first, because Kerr, very early with his goal kicking, set the scene for West Perth. He has 2, could have even had 3. Hutchings and Mellington 1 apiece, and for the Royals, Seal, a terrific first quarter by the veteran Matt Seal. 2 goals, Josh Smith, Paul Johnson and Scott Lysette each have 1 apiece. And you can see that Kerr with his 2 goals, he had 4 possessions, 8 to Bartholomew. Hutchings was very good with his centre clearances. So too Nelson with half a dozen. Mellington kicked a goal from 4. Black was busy out on his wing. Wadman good with the centre clearance as well. And Tedesco 4 possessions across half back. Whilst for East Perth, it was a Seal with 2 goals, 8 possessions, probably best on ground in that first term. Grover busy as a replacement for Freddie Clutterbuck, 5 possessions. Cripps with 5, 7 to Morton. Sweet had 7 likewise, half a dozen to Craig Wolfe. Josh Smith, a couple of marks, he had 4 possessions, kicked a goal, and Lee, 6 possessions as well. We mentioned earlier on in the piece, it was the Falcons who had 8 centre breaks, 8 inside 50s to 1 for East Perth. Hasn't that changed around now at quarter time?
Well, it did. That was all late in the quarter, Philip. I mean, that's what we said. They had all the momentum at East Perth. And look, the other stats, 80 possessions in total, the Falcons, and 87 to the Royals. But 11 and 13 in the marks, nothing much there. Hitouts, East Perth have got a bit of an advantage there, 11 to 18, although the centre breaks went the Falcons' way. So, but that just the impact they had, particularly in the amount of attacking they did in that last 7 or 8 minutes of that quarter, was pretty ominous for West Perth.
All right, let's go into a very tight West Perth huddle at quarter time.
Jace reckons that he dropped off to go to Cadwallader.
There was 2 men.
You're saying you're going to Cadwallader as well?
I was on Cadwallader. Seal, they're swapping.
Yeah, right.
Remember what we've actually said about that thing? Okay. Especially around stoppages where they're trying to set up. They will push it forward up. Right, someone from the midfield's going to come. So it's happening. They're rotating between Sil, Cripps, right, and Wolf's the other one too. Right? Cadwallader happened to just pop up there and all that kind of stuff. right? Doing a really good job, okay? Doing a really good job. When Lycett is coming on, the big fellas, then just come and just, all right, and then if we have to manufacture to get back on, we'll get you back on, all right? But
so, Rod, West Perth lost control of the first quarter about halfway through, but they still seem pretty happy with what the way things transpired in that first term.
Yes, they certainly started well, Phil, but they just couldn't maintain that pressure, and East Perth started to get themselves into the game. There was a fair bit of discussion about who was actually picking up the players once they rotate through the middle, and Seal was being, the West Perth players were asking who was actually picking up Seal when he obviously plays a high half forward and goes into the middle. And all the damage was done probably in that last 10 minutes when East Perth actually started to get a bit of a run on. So the message from the coach was to make sure that the matchups are right when they're changing through the middle, get to the player and stick with him.
Yeah, certainly Matt Seal, there was some confusion because he found a lot of space in that first quarter. Josh Mellington was a very busy and valuable player for West Perth in that first quarter. Brad and Judgy, he was on the end of this one. This is a great goal, and he gave away a free kick or two, but his contribution as a deep forward was very good in the first term.
Well, it was a good goal, particularly up that end. Tough place to kick goals from, but he was very competitive.
Okay, let's just go downstairs. Michael Genovese has got Brian Dawson.
Well, Brian, what was the quarter-time message to the boys?
Oh, look, we settled, probably okay after 10 or 15 minutes probably, and managed to wrest back a bit of momentum in the game, which was great. But we just got to really keep our heads, use the ball well as we go forward this quarter. You can kick plenty of goals that end, so we need to keep doing our stuff.
19 effective tackles in the first quarter. Was that a focus pre-game?
Yeah, pressure's always a focus in finals. You saw that last night, and that's the recipe for any finals victory, is to win the pressure stakes. So we're going to be really good at that.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Kevin Sheedy there, watching on, or not watching on, as the case may be. Guest at the lunch before things got underway here for the 2013 WAFL Grand Final. The Royals, they've stormed into the lead, and Johnson just thumps it forward. That's a push in the back. So Swan will get another opportunity to put East Perth into attack. Could have gone short to Selwood. That's ignored. Swan heads out to Lycett. Got away from Dan Hunt, and he takes the mark, plays on quickly, heads into the left forward pocket. Smith battling away. It's over the boundary line. Marusik did well. I was going to say before, Phil, but the 22nd minute mark of that term, West Perth led by 18 points. So East Perth storming home to the end of the quarter. Ball back into play. Lycett won it down. Wolf couldn't take it cleanly, just sock it away. Getting a boot to it was Strike. Eventually, Oakley Nichols can pick it up. His kick wasn't great, but it works out okay. Fraser happy to take it, puts East Perth towards the top of the square. The fist came from Strike, rushed through. Minor score to start proceedings in the second term.
A few numbers behind the ball early for West Perth. A couple of half-backs at that centre bounce start. Probably could have marked that one as well, coming back there, Strike.
Yep, played ultra safety first. Brown now with the footy. Stephen Brown goes for distance, gets plenty of it as well. Looking there for Marusik, putting a fist into it, Lycett. And over the top of Selwood was Guadagnon, and the umpire decides to ball it up.
Always just go up a gear every time Selwood goes near the footy, and just a little bit more tax put on it for him, Judgy.
Yeah, like to make sure he earns his kicks.
Johnson palmed it down brilliantly to Lee. The skipper kicks it up toward full forward. Lycett charges at the footy, overran it in the end. Rasmussen to Jones. She was lucky then, got out of trouble. The hand pass to Strike. He chips one off then to Rasmussen. All of that action played in a very confined space close to the boundary line, and it seemed inevitable that it was going to go over for a throw-in. So West Perth not unhappy with that. They get a chance to set themselves up at this boundary throw-in. Marusik giving away some height to Lycett, who palms it down to Wolf, flips a hand pass over to Morton. Almost got himself out of the Hutchings tackle. The ball spills to the ground. West Perth player just adjacent to that, and Van Berlo is hurt as the rain starts to come down again. Very slow to get up off the ground there, Jay Van Berlo. And he's going to come from the field. Now, there is a blood rule, and there's a fair bit of claret flowing from the forehead, by the look of it, of Van Berlo, who was pretty good in the first quarter, I thought, Brad.
He was, and that's a fair gash. So hopefully he can come off, get stitched up, and back we go as we see a replay of it.
Yeah, just ran into a Craig Wolf elbow, and those elbows are made out of titanium, Wolfies, as is most of his body. But Jay Van Bello, he's been playing that role of third man up quite a bit in that first quarter.
Has he come on
so
yet?
they'll need to get him off, get him back on as quickly as they can, because the strength of the East Perth ruckman is well known. There it is, evident again with Lysette winning the tap. No clear advantage, however. Selwood, hand pass to Lee, gets the ball onto his left boot, curls it back to the goal square, and a good clever mark taken by Smith. Slippery footy, controlled it well, just outmanoeuvred Dan Hunt in the end, and he will shoot at goal from no more than 5 or 6 metres out.
Do the umpires in this competition realise it's not where the player ends up, it's where he marks the ball? He's just gone to put him on the mark where he's laying on the ground. He's taken 3 steps backwards after he's marked it.
Well, he's going to line up on the angle, take a step forward and swing it in. Had it on target, immediately left his boot. He's now got 2 goals. Rain pouring down. East Perth going into this second quarter with a 1-goal lead, and they've dominated play through the first 4 minutes and now added another 7 points, Bradley.
It's a great mark in these conditions. Good yardage here from Lee, I think, at the contest. Just get it on, get it in. Selwood wins the contest and then get it out to Lee. But watch Smith's hands here. Flat hands over the back. That's a really good mark in these conditions against a really good opponent in Hunt. Great start from East Perth.
Go holding!
They've kicked 5 unanswered goals now, the Royals. Wadman puts West Perth into attack, though, towards right half forward. The ball will tumble inside the attacking 50. Fraser will get back there first. Tapped it straight towards the boundary line. It'll be a throw-in. Made his debut this season. It's his 16th game in 2013, just 19 years of age. Mitchell Fraser, young man with plenty of promise for the Royals.
Eyes on the ball!
Look how wet it is out there. The rain on the camera lens as the 2 rucks go at it. Comes down to Millington. Umpire spotted a free kick out of all this. It's going to be East Perth's, or West Perth's, is it? It is West Perth's. It's going to Hutchings.
I think non-officiating umpire actually called it.
Well, Mark Hutchings, as an Eagle, would have plenty of practice from this pocket. It's right near the West Coast race. You're putting boot to ball from just inside 50. It is a tight angle. It's a difficult kick. West Perth could do with this. Hutchings, he's got it. They desperately needed the reply. Mark Hutchings with his second. 7 points the margin again.
Yeah, well, it's a good goal from there. As you said, the West Coast players would have umpteen shots from out there when they leave the training track after training. And he's just slid that through nicely. They certainly needed that.
We didn't see what it was for.
Just grabbed at the jumper, I think.
Yeah, looked like Lee grabbed his jumper at that contest, and the non-officiating, I think it was Parry.
So some weak sunshine just filtering here at Subiaco Oval. 6 minutes into the second quarter. Gee, that was an important goal to West Perth. Coonan trying to get the clearance. They've been good at that. Soccering it forward was Nelson. Getting there first, though, Grover. He employs the soccer tactics as well. Finds some space right out on the wing. Codwalla got there first. Strike with him. Good strong body of Andrew Strike. Putting his body on the line over the top of him, Grover, and the umpire says throw it in.
Phil J. Van Berlo, he's been all strapped up. He's got a fair bit of head work there, but he looks okay and ready to go back on.
Fair bit of head work.
That's a wad of tape.
Yep. They would have opened, I reckon, a second roll just to complete that work as Lysette taps the ball down to the front of the pack, goes in after it himself. Grover had it, fumbled it. Bartholomew didn't have it. He was slung off the footy. Here's a chance now for Selwood. Diving effort at half back by Strike. Cadwallader keeps the ball alive, looking there for Cripps. Finds him in a confined space. Cripps did well to get the kick away into the pocket. Johnson over the top just couldn't make a prisoner of that mark. And Maruzic very happy to see that ball safely over the line and out of bounds for a throw-in. Gee, he nearly had that ball, Johnson.
Yeah, he did.
So this throw-in about 15 metres around from the Royals' right-hand behind post. Encouraging to see that sunshine strengthening. Johnson wins the tap. Shark nicely though by Nelson. Blind kick and courageous mark taken by by Grover. Got some pretty big bodies around him there, Grover. Kicks the ball back into the pocket. Lycett flew. I beg your pardon, Cripps flew over the top of Jones. Cadwallader had it, and it was jolted free. And Jordan Jones, well, he was taken in a standing tackle by Cadwallader and wrestled him over the line and threw him into the turf. So another boundary throw in. Johnson, Maruzic. The latter conceding some height. He's got a lot of body strength, though. He gets rid of Johnson, gets to the contest. Hutchings, another kick. Now, the East Perth players appealing for a deliberate over the line and out of bounds. The umpire having none of that. It was a good effort by Hutchings.
2 goals already today for him. Former East Perth player as a youngster. Now with the Falcons. Spending some time at St Kilda. He will be back there again. It's part of the alignment process. Bartholomew, a hurry kick away. Lycett couldn't gather. Picking up Wilson. Sweeps the hand pass. Grover did well to pick it up. Got tackled strongly by Salisic. The ball jars free. Nelson, Guadinin. Nelson again on centre wing. Players ahead of him. Hand passes to Hutchings. Great opportunity this for West Perth. On in turn to Patenti. Patenti from the left forward pocket. He'll go for goal. That's a terrific goal from West Perth. 2 in a row now for the Falcons. Their fans liked it. And Stephen Patenti with just his 6th goal of the season. He's made it a 1-point ball game.
They just created a loose man down this side of the ground here. Drew a couple of East Perth players, and they managed to get a player freed up. Patenti was the player. I was a bit worried at the time when he actually kicked this, because he could have perhaps looked for a better option. He was on a bit of an angle, but he kicked it straight, kicked the goal, and there'll be no complaints from anyone.
Used the conditions well. Skidded it through. I
was going to say, Bradley, the thing about the wet grass, the wet footy, when they skid and they go straight. So he had it on target. That was all he had to do. It was well thought out by the young man, who's been pretty good in the first quarter and a bit. Lee flips a hand pass up to Selwood, just scurried a short kick away, but it was nicely picked up by Payne. Gives it to Blaine Wilson. The kick needed to be longer. It was a very poor short kick, and Dan Burlow with some minor surgery done to his forehead. Nicely bandaged up, good mark, and he finds Fowler. Haven't seen much of him. Gets plenty on this kick. Goes right up toward full forward. Lycett nearly captured the mark. Lee at ground level, so good as always. Now that was touched off the Blaine Wilson boot. Landed right near the boundary line and somehow miraculously bounced back in. But over goes Mel Dennis under the weight of a Manning tackle. He does tackle ferociously, Cody Manning. There's Ryan Meldennis.
Ball to be put back into play. Great fight back in this term by the Falcons. They looked in real trouble at quarter time. Lycett won it down. Bartholomew tries to work it forward. It's over the boundary line again. Inside 50s. Starting to even up. East Perth is 17. West Perth 14 at the moment. Centre break still with the Falcons. 10-4.
VB, Brendan.
Lycett against Kiernan. Lycett at the back. Lee couldn't gather. Selwood got a hand pass away. Back to him. Second hand pass. Came out to Manning. Spills out again to Black. A hurry kick. Will find his captain. Salisic taking the mark. Salisic plays on quickly. He goes towards full forward, or bounces off the chest of Millington. He grabbed it at the second attempt. Deserved a pat on the back as well for that. First time, not enough. He was there when it mattered.
It looked like he was all set. I thought he's done well. He's led up beautifully and dropped it.
Now, there's push and shove off the ball.
50 metres, Clint.
So Millington, we brought to the top of the goal square. Expected a bit of push and shove. It continues to go on. Millington won't mind any of that. Easy as you like. West Perth, they kick another. They've gone 3 unanswered now in this term. Big smiles for Josh Millington. Millington's kicked his second. And West Perth have hit the front. 12 minutes gone into the second term.
Bit undisciplined there, Ken. Would have been a hard kick. He's a quality player, Millington, and may have got the job done. Great mark, as we see in replay here. Just probably misjudged how quickly that footy was coming at him. But undisciplined in the middle of the ground. Made a certain goal out of it.
We didn't see who was responsible, Brad, but you could see that Brian Dawson
was in the middle of the ground, I think, Phil. It's an R4 thing. Lysette might look like he might have been involved in something.
Yeah, irrespective, Brian Dawson was not impressed. Great palm down from Johnson to Lee. 32 tap-outs to 14 at the moment. So East Perth dominating that area, but West Perth have got their noses back in front. Swan got it to Johnson, managed to get a kick away, only short, but Cadwallader was there. That's a high kick, almost to the goal square. Lysette with his body in front, couldn't complete the mark. Cadwallader again made good ground to get there. Brown just fell over at the academic time. Now Lee with a short pass, beautifully thought out. Just got it to his boot. He had two players, Sweet and Wolf, there. And it was Craig Wolf, the veteran, playing game number 225, who took the mark. You could see Lee just weighing his options up there and made a quick decision, executed beautifully. And Wolf will shoot from about 35 metres out. The angle around about 60 degrees. Kendall Ball looking for the right view of this one. Wolf sends it on its way, looks good off the boot, wrong side of the post. So East Perth with a chance to respond to that unbroken chain of three by the Falcons, but instead it's behind, they creeped within 4 points.
Tedesco, long kick in, setting himself. Oakley Nichols went up, brought it to ground. Payne, hand pass under pressure. Only found Rasmussen of the Falcons. Crisp couldn't take it. Selwood got a hand pass away, but went to Hutchings. He was tackled too. Salisic is there working hard. Selwood in once more, battling away Oakley Nichols amongst all of that. So too Gwadden aboard up.
Couple of missed free kicks.
Yeah, if they put it away, let's hope so. And it's consistent for the rest.
Sometimes the next one we get's not a soft one.
2/19, Cunin at the back, got the palm to it, straight down to Wolf. Tackled immediately. Hutchings has been very aggressive. As Ken said, will be wearing the East Perth colours next year as part of the alignment. Johnson slaps it inside the attacking 50. Umpire spots a free kick for holding. Michael Swan, he'll have the opportunity to have a shot at goal. Arrived at the club just after their glory days in the early 2000s. Brother David, premiership player with the Royals. This is his first grand final. WAFL game 170 for Michael Swan, former captain of the club. From 50 out, Swan sends it on its way. He kicks the big goals for the Royals, Michael Swan. They're back in front in the 2013 WAFL Grand Final. East Perth's lead, 2 points. 15 and a half gone second term.
Well, you can just see by that there, goals can be scored at the three-tier end. What we expected was going to be pretty average weather, sort of. We've only had a couple of little bouts of it so far, so the weather's not having a huge impact at the moment. And certainly, as far as the wind goes, the wind looks like it may have dropped a little bit, and certainly goals to that end are not that difficult to score.
Brian Dawson said that at a quarter time, but the advantage of getting the ball into a dangerous area and putting the defence under enormous pressure we saw there. Jones, it was just a grubber kick in, but enormous pressure made him give away the free kick.
19,798 fans in here at the moment. Seesawing grand final of 2013. Who'll get this centre clearance? Gwadden's been good in these situations. It was flipped out the back by Van Berlo, I thought, but no. It was flipped out by Seal, perhaps, because Van Berlo gets the free kick. Lays it off to the running Stephen Brown. That's a great kick from Brown. Hutchings, how much territory is he covering?
It's been good.
Incredible engine he has got. The kick a little bit difficult there for Crisp. Hand passes to Tedesco, who was on hand for him. The kick, uncanny bounce over the top of Fowler, and Wilson made a bit of a meal of that deliberately. Sees the ball safely over the line and out of bounds. So throw in just inside the attacking 50 for West Perth. They trail by 2 points, 17 minutes into this second quarter. Johnson controls it. Couldn't get it onto his boot. Van Berlo is there. Close to the boundary line. Fowler ensures that East Perth Selwood is going nowhere. West Perth will want to keep the ball inside their forward line and make the most of this opportunity. Over the top, Coonan. Bartholomew's attack on the ball was good. Thought about a hand pass, then kicks from the boundary line. And is that a mark by Rodder? I think no, it's not. He didn't control it. Both field umpire and boundary umpire right there. So So throw in. Now only a couple of metres around from the behind post. Coonan and Johnson. Looks like a monster up against the slightly built Coonan. Lee released a hand pass to Selwood. His was chopped off by Coonan. That was good footy. To Black, now to Bartholomew. Hurried kick from one step. Not controlling it, Wilson. Manning goes in after it. Lee was there, might have been held without it. The umpire says play on. Meldenis just couldn't get a firm purchase on it. The hand pass wasn't good. Taken by Salisic. The skipper has kicked a great goal. Another lead change in this grand final. Jason Salisic, is he fired up, and he's trying to fire his team up as well. 8 goals to West Perth. East Perth 7 goals 4, and the West Perth team now lead by 4 points.
Well, that was just perseverance by West Perth then. Again, it doesn't have to be special. Today, when the ball can spend a bit of time on the ground, you just got to be at it all the time, and things can happen if you just keep enough pressure on the opposition and you got forcing the ball forward and you get numbers to the contest, and that's exactly what happened then. Salisic bobbed up and kicked a really good goal.
Should have gone outside, Meldenis.
Yep.
Came inside where it's dangerous. Boundary line is your friend as a defender. Should have come the other side. Went in where it was, but great play from the captain, been involved in the last couple of goals.
So it's the Falcons back in front. Both rucks go at it. Lee read it well. Came down to Selwood. Got a hurry kick to the outer side. Ball bounces its way over the boundary line. Hale Morton, another one of the young Eagles.
Watch the
A bit
ball.
of time with Melbourne before coming back to the west.
Don't hold.
Ball back in again. Lycett won it down. Straight to Selwood. And no opportunity to get rid of it. He was tackled the moment he took possession. He was wrapped up. A little bit like Van Berlo's head happens to be at the moment.
That's it.
Adam Selwood, who signed on as a development coach with the West Coast Eagles in the last few days. Seal sliding out, couldn't pick it up. West Perth can come away with it down the outer side. Guadman involved nicely along with Black. The kick is towards right half forward. Beat a couple of players. Fowler, Crisp, hands it back. Black did really well to gather that in. Found Millington. Hand pass was meant to have Van Berlo had a fresh air shot and missed. Payne was there to pick it up for the Royals. Clearing kick towards right half back. Wolf in pursuit. Got a player right with him. Couldn't control it. Sees it over the boundary line for a throw-in.
Not bad. Don't mind that from Wolf. Get it over the boundary line. Set up again. Allow his charges to get over. Those old legs, there's a fair bit of space there. He'd be happy to see it go over.
I don't know about the wisdom of that hand pass by Mellington just a moment ago. I reckon he had time to get around onto that boot of his. Could have almost goaled from there. Lycett over the top. Taken, though, by Van Berlo. Knocked out of his grasp. Lee, creative hand pass out in front of Sweet. Ran into Bother, made light of it and got the hand pass to Wolf. Clever kick by Wolf to keep it in play. And now there's a free kick being given away by Tedesco. And Josh Smith taken high, or unfairly at least in that contest. That contact was high. Camera caught it beautifully. Smith, a beautifully directed pass to Sweet, who was really on his own for far too long. A little bit lax by West Perth. They will not want to relax 21 and a half minutes into this second quarter. They lead by 4 points. Sweet, you'd think this would test him. He's in a position where he's going to have to put it to the front of the 10-metre square. Up they go, big pack. Chasing after it there was Marusic. That was a really crude attack on the player. Head down over the footy. There was absolutely no need to give that free kick away.
Surprise, surprise who the player is with his head over the footy.
Well, certainly that is typical of Craig Wolf, but if you look at this in replay, he just didn't need to be that physical. He just needed to hover and just make sure the ball didn't come out.
Yep.
Giving the free kick away really unforgivable because it provides Craig Wolf with an opportunity to kick a goal, which he goes back and does. And that, in turn, gives the lead back to the Royals. 22 minutes gone. East Perth 8 goals 4. West Perth 8 goals 2. The Royals by 2 points.
Well, we've got the sun coming out as well now, so we might get some fine weather footy as well. We'll get the whole lot. Might be a bit of a Melbourne day here today. But no, it's a good effort by Wolf. I mean, he's just a tough player. He just stays over the ball and Marusic wasn't very smart, really. Any contact to the head nowadays is either a report or a definite free kick. So,
and it's difficult to do, Judgy, isn't it? When you're in full flight, he's a big fella, but these conditions. But he knows the rules. Really needed to drop it down a gear and just corral him a bit more.
Is that the 5th lead change of the match, Phil?
Oh, Clint, that's the sort of thing I refer to you to.
Oh. Taking a wild stab in the dark at that, but it's around about that mark.
Go with it.
Bounce of the footy. Lycett won it down. Sock it away by Nelson towards the outer side. Grover onto it. Picked it up. Couldn't get away from Chris, but got a hand pass out. Diving on top of the football was Lee. Couldn't quite get to it. Still there to be won. Battling away Manning. Tried to knock it out. Emerging with it, Selwood. Strong. Hand pass not where he wanted it to go. Van Berlo. He couldn't get hold of it really either. Holding the ball decision. It's coming back towards Lee. He's got it at left half back. Took a step to the right. And sends it down the outer side, but turns it over. Rodder taking the mark for the Falcons. Right on centre wing. West Perth back into attack. Backing back Anderson. I was happy to see it over the boundary line. Been pretty solid, Anderson, in recent games we've seen for East Perth. In the preliminary final and the minor semi. Had a couple of big jobs.
I like him. I think he's worth a rookie shot at the next level. Body's the concern injury-wise.
Back into play again. Lycett got both hands to it. Came down to Lee. Got it out to Maldennis. Was a bit quick for him to handle. Nelson couldn't take it. Battling away Seal. Nelson was on top of the footy. Manages to get it out. It was nervous times for a moment. Heads towards the boundary line. Grover was very happy to see it over. Into the side today. At the expense of the injured Freddie Clutterbuck. Cameron Grover. And number 25 for him in the WAFL.
A boundary throw in. Getting into front spot, there was Rodder, won the tap cleverly down to Manning. Manning held onto the footy, waited until Nelson was there, gave the hand pass off cleverly. Centering kick, had the idea. Anderson went the punch, ultra conservative. Now Lee has it, coughs it up. Van Berlo, crisp, got a hand pass out. It was a little bit too sharp there for Millington. Going to the ball was Anderson. He managed to get it off to Fraser. Fraser, well, he had 50 cents each way there, Fraser. He was happy to see the ball over the line because the pressure was on the East Perth defence.
Well, good pressure on when they've got the ball deep in forward there. West Perth have put East Perth's defence under some serious pressure.
See the clock, 25 and a half minutes gone. There were 9 goals scored in the first quarter, second in 7 in this term. Rodder got a good piece of that. Here's Selisic, he's already kicked one in this term. Didn't get much of the boot on that one. Fowler overran it. Hutchings kicked it. That was touched, I think. That will be touched.
The umpire's
calling all clear. Now the East Perth players are going to contest this. I can't see how it wasn't touched.
Well, the other thing is Hutchings chased after that because he knew it had been touched.
I agree with that. I think
he chased after that ball.
That was the dead giveaway.
That's been touched.
Did you see it touched?
Is he asking Mark Hutchings if it was touched?
They're speaking in the middle, the umpires. I think they're going to change the decision.
You need to know the score. It's been touched off the boot. Okay. All clear, one behind.
Yeah, I saw it touched.
He's already called a goal. Yeah. Another score. Another score. He's already called a goal.
So a futile attempt there, I think, from Josh Millington to have his say in it. But yeah, you're quite right, Judgy. Mark Hutchings knew it had been touched. That's why he chased the ball so furiously to the line. So that's the correct result being given now. It was Fraser who got a little bit of his hand on that footy.
Well, the right decision. Took us some time to get there. The correct call in the end. Boyles down the outer side. Seal diving out. Couldn't take the mark. Slapped forward by Sweet. Gathering it, Nelson. Tries to find a hand pass away. Manning couldn't take it. In there. Emerging Nelson once more. Payne scoops it up. Hand passes to Fraser. Oh, big hit! He was crushed by Manning for a moment. Still the ball bobbling around on the outer side. Gee, you'd have felt that.
Something you'd see in a game of gridiron.
Rugby league.
Rugby league, rather.
That was a beauty, wasn't it?
Bang! Oh, dear, oh dear. Mitchell Fraser, you're feeling that for some time. He goes inside the attacking 50 for the Falcons. Maldennis has got it. Payne has to stretch. He's able to get a clearing kick away into the middle of the ground. It always favoured strike, and he takes the mark. Where will he go? He'll send it back inside the attacking 50. Meeting it cleverly was Anderson, but it came down to Nelson. Opportunity for Kerr! He kicks the goal! He's got 3. It's the Falcons back in front in the 2013 WAFL Grand Final. They're 9-3-57. East Perth 8-4-52. 28 gone second term.
Well, good effort there by Kerr to finish there. It has been good for West Perth. It's been Nelson. He's been in everything. And unselfishly handed that off.
He does the simple things really, really well, Shane Nelson. Now that contest there, good kick in from half back for his strike. Nelson goes front and centre, clean hands. Could have had a shot himself, but did the disciplined thing to Kerr, who's been on his own a lot today, Ken.
Has been.
What a valuable goal at the 28.5-minute mark of the second quarter. First half of the 2013 Grand Final has been a ripper. Johnson won the tap, taken though by Gwadden and wrapped up by Wolf and Seal.
Jason Selasek drew 3 players there too, boys.
He did. Nelson looked as though he got high contact, and the umpire agrees. So, as you say, Brad, he's been terrific, Nelson. May have taken just a little while to get himself into the game, but he's really had a terrific quarter. He's right in the middle of the ground, straight down the middle. Charging out there was Rodder, but he pulled up at the critical moment. Crumbs there to Johnson. He got a hand pass off to Sweet. This has come unstuck. No, it hasn't. Yes, it has. Johnson's hand pass went to Fowler. He got it to Crisp. Crisp, uncanny bounce. Taken brilliantly down there, though, by Derricks. Couldn't get a clearance away. Now he does, but it's a risky one. Off the side of the boot, and Mark Crisp, taking the mark on his chest, knows how to kick goals.
I tell you, the pressure in their forward 50 has been really, really hot in this quarter. They've just put East Perth, every time it's gone in there, there's a few of the blokes down the back for East Perth that'd be thinking, geez, get this out of my area.
Manning, as Spinner just said on the boundary before, the skipper's been really important in the last 15 minutes, involved in a couple of goals, couple of contests. Spot on, Judgy, with their pressure.
And Mark Crisp was very important in the second semi-final as well. They kicked 3 or 4 goals, 4 from memory. Comes in, steers this one on its way. He's kicked it. It has been a very, very important last 7 or 8 minutes for the Falcons and their supporters, who are really enjoying it, lapping it up. More than 30 minutes have gone, and you can see Bill Monaghan and his team there. They've got their noses in front. 10 goals, 3. West Perth, East Perth 8 goals, 4, the margin 11 important points.
Forward pressure there again, as we saw. I think it was Kerr involved, Mellington involved, and a good finish from Crisp.
50th WAFL game today. He's played 52 for the West Perth Footy Club, senior level. 33 goals for the season now. Few will be more important than that. As he gives his side an 11-point buffer as we approach half-time. Johnson, the more telling tap away, went out after it himself. Wolf, the co-captain, picks it up for the Royals, got it towards half-forward. Brown couldn't take it. Black was back there to clean up. Sends it out to Kerr, who marks it right half-back. Kerr telling everyone, just steady things down for a moment or two. Kerr down the line, had to be accurate, was, and found Hutchings. On true centre wing. Hutchings, short. Crisp, most recent goal kicker. It's hard up against the boundary. We'll put the Falcons into attack towards right half forward. Meeting it solidly was Rodder. Just knocks it forward. Van Berlo couldn't quite get a kick away. Seal was there to clean up, and he found Lee. Sends it back down the outer side, but Crisp again ends up with it. Heads towards right half forward. Couldn't find a target. Anderson met it for the Royals. Now in turn to Selwood. Selwood kicks to the outer side. It's not what he wanted. Turned it over again. We've seen this a few times now. And once more, there's a Falcon waiting underneath it. This time Rowan Kerr. 3 goals to his name this afternoon. And he'll go right back to Tedesco, who's the furthest man back for West Perth.
I don't know if that would have been my option, Clint. I just think that they could have pressed and maybe sneak another one before the halftime siren.
Yeah, it is. They've sort of gone into
ultra defensive mode.
Slow down mode here. I mean, you've got the momentum. Try and keep it going.
So Hunt Kicks it down the line. Hutchings, well, why wouldn't you go to him? He's been so superb in the first half. Mark Hutchings. He's got 2 goals. Kicks from right on the boundary on centre wing. Anderson went up and he also played safety first, elected not to go for the mark. Nick Rodder just having a few words to him. Anderson has double-fisted it over the line. 33 minutes have gone. 9 goals now scored in this quarter, as there were in the first. West Perth, the side most likely, probably only West Perth capable of kicking a goal. They need to win it from this stoppage. They do. Coonan got it up to Hutchings. He throws it onto his boot and misses everything. Well, that may have been the opportunity they needed. It's gone begging that the football is back in the hands of East Perth.
Thanks, Bella. Yes.
So a couple of goals and an out of bounds on the full for Hutchings. As East Perth are able to find a teammate this time in Lee. Players on the northern wing if Wolf can find them. White is in acres of space. Wolf doesn't look that way. He'll go short instead into the centre square. Sweet marks. Game's lost a bit of its sting as half-time approaches. Wolf now to Sweets. Has to go short again. Lee towards left half forward, backing back. Selwood couldn't mark it. The ball will tumble over for a throw-in inside the attacking 50. Really was running backward as quickly as he could, Selwood, but the kick had a little bit too much on it. Perhaps, though, one late opportunity. Royals and Falcons, their young fans coming face to face in the crowd today as well. That's Lycett in there. But knocked away from him. Quadnan wrestling at the bottom of that pack. We'll have a bounce.
Still down here, Joey. Still down here. Don't hold it.
Ball up again. Lycett to Selwood. Couldn't take it cleanly. Lost possession. Quadnan tries to clean up. Found Kerr. He's tackled immediately. Umpire lurks. Ball came out, though, just in time. Rasmussen. The hand pass out as the siren sounds for half-time. What a half of footy it's been. Both sides at times have looked really good. But at the major break, it's the Falcons in front by 11 points. They're 10-3-63. East Perth 8-4-52. Half-time in the 2013 WAFL Grand Final. Great opportunity this for West Perth. On in turn to Patenti. Patenti from the left forward pocket. He'll go for goal. That's a terrific goal from West Perth.
50 metres, Clint.
So Millington, we brought to the top of the goal square. Expected a bit of push and shove. It continues to go on. Millington won't mind any of that. Easy as you like. West Perth, they kick another.
For the Falcons, Rowan Kerr has kicked 3 goals. Hutchings and Mellington each 2. Salicic, Crisp and Patenti 1 apiece. For the Royals, Seal and Josh Smith 2 goals. Wolf, Johnson, Lycett and Swan 1 goal each. And that has how the game has unfolded. 6-point leaders, the Royals at quarter time. It's now West Perth leading by 11 points in the 2013 Grand Final. And what a first half of a Grand Final it has been. Notable for its momentum shifting and lead changes, Brad and Judgy, when you consider that just looking at it alone, they trailed by 6 points at quarter time. They now lead by 11 points. That was a great quarter by West Perth.
Well, it was, and much the same as East Perth late in that first quarter. West Perth had all the momentum at the end of that second quarter. I mean, they were going quite well, and I just thought the pressure they put on inside their forward 50 was fantastic in that quarter. They just forced East Perth defenders into error. They just were at them. It wasn't just one player at them. If they managed to sort of just get away from one player, there was another player hitting them again, or at least coming across their line to stop them getting the ball that way clearly. And as a result, they're 11 points in front at half-time, so very impressive.
This is the scene of a remarkable game last night where the Fremantle Dockers forward pressure and just general pressure on the opposition got them over the line. It was the most notable feature of that game. West Perth probably leading the way at the moment in that area. Their pressure on in contested situations has just been quite remarkable.
Yeah, it has been, and certainly late in that quarter. I mean, I felt East Perth had got that into the first quarter, and then early in the second they started to look like they were going to assert some authority. West Perth in the end, they had all the run and finish at the end of that half. So I think we're in for a good game. I think this thing, I imagine East Perth are going to be too strong. The only concern I have is whether the influence of the listed players in East Perth's list, whether their fitness, because they're more professional footballers, whether that takes over in the end, towards the end of a game, or whether West Perth, the character they're showing, can hold them instead for the whole way.
It certainly is, as you say, Judge, going to be a great contest. Time for our grand final edition of Halftime at the Football, and as tradition has it, we'll look back at the gala event on Monday night of the counter and presentation of the 2013 Sandover medal. Michael Genovese was on hand for all of the pomp and ceremony, and we look forward to that, and really looking forward to being back here at Subiaco Oval for the second half of this grand final.
Hello and welcome to the final episode of Halftime at the Footy. Tonight we're here at Crown to find out who will be crowned the 2013 Sandover medalist. We'll bring you the count and of course you'll hear from the winner. But before all that, we'll check out the glitz and the glamour and all the action from the red carpet. The WAFL's night of night, and once again it didn't disappoint. Dozens of current stars arrived to enjoy the night and to support their teammates, the handful of players dubbed as favourites to take home tonight's medal. Paul Johnson's name is predicted by many to enter the history books tonight. His teammate Brendan Lee could also be rewarded for a standout year. Another favourite who normally polls well on Sandover night is East Fremantle's Rory O'Brien. Or will 17 Claremont wins secure Jake Murphy tonight's medal? Of course, the night isn't just about the current crop. Medalists from years gone by are celebrated during the night's traditional Parade of Champions.
For me, one of the most amazing aspects of winning a medal is being able to rub shoulders with the likes of Barry Cable and Stephen Michael and the legends of our game. It's, I love it every time I get to get back in the rooms with those guys and Ian Miller and the likes. It's just a wonderful time.
It's probably an award you appreciate more after the event, like when you've retired. At the time, you're so focused on team goals and team success. And I guess picking up these, you appreciate it more as you get older, sort of thing. So I'm very thankful to have won one. So the umpires maybe got it right or wrong, who knows? But it's an honour to be a Sandover medalist.
Well, there was no television, and back in those days it was. I found out I'd won the Sandover medal listening to the news on the ABC, 9 o'clock news. And I think I was given my Sandover medal on grand final day. I walked onto the Oval and they presented it to me then. So it's all changed compared to now. It's more glamorous and rightly so.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Commission, I'd like to add my welcome to you being here this evening.
The award started with West Perth's Frank Stockley taking home the Prendergast medal as the best player in the WAFL reserves. East Perth spearhead Josh Smith was presented with his first Bernie Naylor medal for kicking 62 goals in the home and away season, while Claremont's Mark Webb took home the Coach of the Year award.
He takes home the JJ Leonard medal.
East Fremantle, R. O'Brien, 2 votes.
As the Sandover count commenced, Rory O'Brien found himself the centre of attention.
O'Brien, 5 votes.
But East Fremantle's Rory O'Brien holds that lead on 19.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shock. Didn't think I would be sitting in that position at this time. I think the first half of my season probably my worst, but pretty surprised.
A strong finish to the season meant many had tipped O'Brien to storm home and poll strongly in the second half of the year. And that's exactly what he did. By round 21, the gun midfielder had opened up a 12-point buffer over East Perth big man Paul Johnson.
Ladies and gentlemen, I declare the 2013 Sandover medalist with 55 votes, Rory O'Brien from the East Fremantle Football Club.
I would like to congratulate Rory on his fantastic win.
I do like to thank the Sandover family. It's a prestigious award and I'm honoured to win it tonight. I'm obviously shocked, honoured to be a part of this great club. I can't believe it. Words can't describe how happy I am right now. I said at the start, I was very shocked. Obviously leading at halfway, I couldn't believe it. And to get the amount of votes I did was a big shock, considering the guys we had in our side, McGough, Kerr and Dalziel. But yeah, absolutely stoked. I can't really explain it. It's so exciting to be a part of this prestigious award. I think we'll see it in the next few years.
O'Brien had a very special thank you for coach and now fellow Sandover medalist Steve Malaxis.
He's been critiquing my game in the way that obviously working on my decision making, kicking, really fine-tuning things, things that some coaches haven't done before, and things that I don't really know I'm doing, but he's finding and watching vision that closely that he's noticing.
You hear the word a lot of professional, but he really is. Trains hard. He lives in Mandurah still. Drives up, drives home, training nights. I guess the only thing I've tried to do is to see areas where he can improve and point them out to him. And he's been diligent enough and good enough to work on those. So really, that's all I've done.
The 27-year-old finished 12 votes clear of Paul Johnson, with Claremont's Jake Murphy rounding out the top three.
I've been lucky enough in the last few years to get a few votes, but to get the amount of votes I did tonight was an absolute shock. But I think it's probably the last 3 years worth that I've got it all in one night. It's absolutely amazing.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Rory O'Brien, the 2013 Sandover medalist.
Yeah, well done, Michael Genovese. Big night, Sandover medal night, judge he always is. And Rory O'Brien, one of the favourites and a very, very good winner, I thought.
Yeah, well, he leading possession getter in the competition. Most free kicks 4, I think, in the competition as well. So they're pretty handy stats. If you get the ball a lot and the umpires reward you a lot, you're probably under their watch a lot, aren't you?
There's no doubt about that. Look, we're going to have a look now at some of the great goals of the year, and there have been some terrific goals. We've been privileged to see some beauty throughout the course of the season, and this is a package I'm sure that you'll all enjoy.
Bit of pace being shown there by Johnson, making his debut this afternoon, the young man. Look at the confidence of him. 2 bounces, nearly 3, swings the hand per pass inboard there to Fowler, back to Johnson. Well, what a stellar first passage of play.
Remus with a big leap, decides to make the spoil, gets his own crumbs. If he can pick it up, he can have a shot on goal. Does so now, hooks it across the shoulder. Wonderful effort from Remus.
Lovely pick up by Winmar. Winmar now with a long kick to the goal square. This could go through it well. Oh, one of the goals of the day.
Hutchings is inside the attacking 50 from the right forward pocket, heads towards goal. That is some shot at goal.
Chad Jones at ground level, he's caught. He releases the hand pass to Medhurst. Dangerous in situations like that with a capital D. Paul Medhurst.
Came out the side. Stack will shoot at goal. Stack has kicked a terrific goal.
I thought there was a push. The umpire says no. Newman gathers the footy, shrugs the tackle. There's the quick reply. Laffer's got the sit. He just couldn't get his hands on it. Here's Hawksley. He was a good hard-moving target onto the left boot. That's a great effort by Hawksley.
Hoping for Remus. It just pitched short of him. Can he keep it in? He does. He slips past the tackle of Shannon. Curls it through.
A wonderful contest. We've got that and a bit more. Not up high. Growing in confidence. Slots it down to Bokhorst. He gives it to the runner Faulkner. He's inside 50. He kicks on goal. They've got another one.
Beat with plenty of space in front of him. He can take a bounce. He can take another. He can keep going if he wants to, Peak. A third bounce. He can run inside 50. He can head towards goal. It's through. Richardson from right on 50. Richardson. That is some sort of goal.
Ugle, a falling snap, and he's kicked a goal.
Ball bounces in front of Simons. Get away from Parker. Simons has a shot. That would be some goal. Oh, that's a terrific effort.
This is a good one up Wood, full forward. Oh, nearly a great mark to Wood, but what about the recovery? Second effort, dynamite. Goes to Dick, got it from Tropiano. Now Dick on the burst down the outer side of the ground. 3 bounces, hand passes to Hadley. Slight fumble, he's got some time to give it back to Dick. Another hand pass, Dick to Boyle. It went to ground first, Boyle back to Dick. This would be some goal, and he makes light of it.
Yeah, some absolute pearlers there, from goals of the year to the marks of the year. High marking, probably the feature of our great game that brings about the most excitement. And here's a look back at some of the best of season 2013.
West Perth had the numbers, and Dan Hunt is in fine form this afternoon, taking a one-hander.
We'll have a shot. Won't have the distance. Big fly in the goal square and dragging it in. That's not.
Awkward left foot kick, high into the pocket. Smith getting a run, and he's reeled it in. Terrific mark.
Long kick, strong grab. McDougall.
Uses the outside of his boot, gets into the pocket, getting back, and almost, that's a mark, is it? It's bounced off a few body parts there, and it's been paid to Skersbury.
Got an option now, he'll send it long. He wanted to find Toomey, and Toomey's taken the mark.
Ugle keeps it in cleverly. What will he do? He snaps on goal across the face of the mark taken.
Type in the air. Frankie backing back. The fly came from Ham.
Goes up towards Stack on the second attempt. Oh, that telegraphic arm went up. That did the first part of the contract, and then he was able to control it. Faulkner escapes long enough to get his kick. That holds up, but Knight reads it beautifully.
Gathering the half volley down there was Worthington. Clears the kick, but Smith had the sit. Good run and leap from Ali Smith.
Heads the right half forward. Sends it long inside the attack. Oh, what a mark that was! He's threatened once or twice today, but really, he leapt into the air and dragged down the footy. It's left half forward. Oh, diving backwards. That's a good mark to strike. It was Magumwa! Wowee! Just talked about how he likes to leap into the air, and he does it again. Fong the Tigers. Flying! That's a terrific grab. Came from a long way back, Bristow. Jones beyond defensive 50. Oh, that's a great mark. You have another look. Got hands to it, and then had to just stretch out the right hand.
Neswinder puts it long and high. And another good defensive mark for the Sharks.
Goes with a long high kick. Oh, nearly. It was a great one-hander on the second grab by McInnes. Davis now from right half forward flank. Goes to the hot spot. Oh, great leap and great mark down there by Charlie Cameron.
Centre wing, commentary side. Big fly at the back. That's a nice mark taken to Guadnan. Morton long to the outer side. Big fly, Stack. What a wonderful mark. We know how much talent he's got, and it was on show there.
He loads it up, goes for Williams. Oh, what a mark. I reckon he might have said a word or two to Carl Morton there as well on landing.
Rio sends a pipe in the air. Looks like holds in the breeze. That's a wonderful grab from Knox. He leapt into the air.
Yeah, some great highlights there, and they provide some wonderful memories of season 2013, but they're all of historical significance now. Judgy, back to the here and now, because we've got a game on our hands here in this grand final, with both sides have stamped their authority on the game from time to time. It's the Falcons by 11 points at the moment. That really is nothing, the way the game has gone, because the swings have been so frequent and so voluminous. It's hard to see how this game's going to pan out from there.
And I think it appears as though the weather's abated at the moment, and with a bit of luck we won't get any more of that today, so that won't have any impact. So this could settle down into a really close contest. It could go well into the last quarter before we find a winner, because what we've seen so far is sides, as you said, have had periods where they've been able to dominate, but not really absolutely take control of the game. They've just had little spates where they've got their goal or two in front, but not been able to sort of make it 4 or 5 goals in front, which in some cases could become a match-winning lead. But I think this thing's going to be a really close contest for the whole second half.
Yeah, highlights of plenty in that first half. Let's go now to a package that shows some of the major highlights of the first half of footy. Rowan Kerr, he's a skillful goal kicker. That's a great kick. Oh, and he celebrates. What a great first goal by West Perth and Rowan Kerr. First of the 2013 grand final.
Tackled, got it, hands free. Knocked down again. Seld will kick down the outer side for the Royals. Goes over the top of Smith. Chance to run onto it for Seal. Seal will gather. Will chip short. Likes it, must go. He'll pick up the footy and he will.
Combined with Bellington a moment ago, this time with Van Berlo. Here's a chance for Kerr to kick his second. Kerr with a couple of goals. Salisic seems to be in good form. Hutchings has had a bit of it as well, as Manning Lysett in front, or palmed it down, but only as far as Hutchings. Oh, he anticipated brilliantly, Mark Hutchings. Breeze even seems to have strengthened again over the last few minutes. Smith, brilliantly down to Seal, who gets onto his left foot. Scores are level.
Johnson put it into the path of pain, now to Selwood. Kicks inside the forward 50 front position. Smith's ball came from Hunt. Comes down to Seal. He turns and snaps. He's got his second. They've kicked 4 straight, the Royals. Nelson again on centre wing. Players ahead of him. Hand passes to Hutchings. Great opportunity this for West Perth. On in turn to Patenti. Patenti from the left forward pocket. He'll go for goal. That's Terrific goal from West Perth.
Manning goes in after it. Lee was there, might have been held without it. The umpire says play on. Maldenis just couldn't get a firm purchase on it. The hand pass good, taken by Salisic. The skipper has kicked a great goal. Up they go, big pack. Chasing after it, there was Marusic. That was a really crude attack on their player. Because it provides Craig Wolf with an opportunity to kick a goal, which he goes back and does.
Where will he go? He'll send it back inside the attacking 50. Meeting it cleverly was Anderson, but it came down to Nelson. Opportunity for Kerr! He kicks the goal! He's got 3. It's the Falcons back in front.
Yeah, back in front they are by 11 points. The Royals have had 14 more possessions. You can see there the free kicks. Nothing much in that. The inside 50s have really levelled up. The Royals just with one more. They've dominated the hit-outs, 44-21. Centre breaks in favour of West Perth, 13-6. OK, let's go downstairs to Rod Willett and Michael Genovese, who are waiting.
Yes, thanks very much, Phil. Well, a little bit of a controversy there just at half-time, where a few of the West Perth officials actually come up to me and said to me, well, what happened with that goal? Why wasn't it a goal? I hope they weren't using a video review. So I had to go and ask the umpires how did they actually come to that decision. And, Michael, what they actually told me is that the umpire, the boundary umpire, come over and said that he thought it had been touched. So that's actually how they come to their decision. On that also is that they're apparently allowed to make the decision right up until the ball gets bounced in the middle of the ground. So Bill Monahan and a few of the other coaching staff were very disappointed, but it was a fair decision, and in the umpire's eyes it was the right decision.
Yeah, well, Hutchings seemed absolutely filthy. He seemed to think that it was a goal. He came to the bench and he was just, he was really angry about the whole thing. But isn't he having a game and a half? I mean, 16 possessions at half-time. He's kicked 2, perhaps could have had 3. But, I mean, the whole conversation on the goal line, it almost introduces the argument for goal line technology. We've seen it work in the AFL. Well, it's up to you whether or not you think it's worked, but they're using it to great effect in the AFL, and maybe it might be time for the WAFL to look at using that sort of technology.
And I also think it was a pretty clear indication when Hutchison actually started chasing the footy himself, thinking that I might get another chance to toe poke this through the goal. So a fair bit happening down here on the boundary, and we're certainly looking forward to a great second half.
Yeah, we don't want to labour the point, but if he was going crook when he came off the ground, Clint, I would say it's a case of Mark Hutchings protested too much.
Yes.
Because I think he knew it had been touched off the boot. It certainly looked it in the call.
Certainly did, because he followed it up, didn't he? Absolutely followed up. Mind you,
but he kicked it, knew it had been touched, tried to follow up, didn't quite get to it, and then was pretty happy when the goal said it was a goal. So,
and in terms of video replays, because they work so beautifully well in the AFL.
Oh yeah,
they've just been such a success.
But the umpiring has been terrific. I think in this game so far. There's Michael Swan. Well, Judgy, you were predicting a 25-point victory for East Perth. That has got to have a significant turnaround to fulfil that prophecy.
Oh, look, Lammy, I'm not even sure they're going to win now, East Perth, to be honest, the way the game's going. I can't pick a winner at this stage, I've got to say. I look at it and I've been really impressed with West Perth. They've really taken up to East Perth today. My only concern is, I said, the addition of a few of these listed AFL players who are professional footballers, whether their higher level of fitness and all that sort of thing can have an impact in the end for East Perth. I don't know. Time will tell. But you can't take anything away from West Perth. They have been fantastic to this stage. And, you know, right at this stage, I think it's a real toss of the coin as to who's going to win the game.
Let's go quickly to West Perth's bench and Rod Willett.
Yeah, thanks, Phil. We got Mark Crisp, Shane Nelson, Luke Tedesco and Ray Bartholomew on the bench for the second half.
Let's get the third term underway. 2013 Premiership decider. The Rucks go at it. They both had a touch. Kiernan probably the more telling one, but it came down to Wolf. Kicks quickly towards half forward. Fraser battling away. Ooh, Swan will get the free kick, no doubt. Taken high.
Well, he's not dissimilar to Wolf. I mean, he just attacks the ball so hard, Swan, that invariably you draw free kicks because you put your head over the ball, you go to it hard, and if the opposition don't get down low or if they're coming face on at you, always a chance to give away a free kick with a high contact.
Interesting to see that Wolf started in that centre bounce straight after the half-time break. Get a hard head in there.
Well, they need it because the other thing is at half-time, as we said, you know, West Perth were leading in the centre, breaks 13-7. That can become significant in the end in a close game.
So Michael Swan has put this out to the right, minor score. Let's head downstairs and find out who's starting on the bench for the Royals.
Yes, we've got Seal, Dean Cadwallader, Marcus White and Cam Grover preparing for the second half on the bench.
So in the goal square, ball to be brought back into play by Stephen Brown. I actually thought that Jordan Jones made a fair effort to try and avoid significant contact there. There might have been something fleetingly that was high. Johnson from behind goes to punch. Lee takes the crumbs, gets it off there to Oakley Nichols. Haven't seen much of him. A little bit of brilliance there as he gets the hand pass out to Sweet. He lays it off to Cripps, and Cripps has kicked the early goal. Less than a minute and a half into the third quarter. The 11-point half-time lead of the Falcons becomes 5. I mean, I know that Jamie Cripps has been in terrific finals form so far, and that is a terrific goal.
It was an interesting decision from the West Perth player, I think it was Strike, to come across this side of the ground from the point kick in, and a really good punch back from Paul Johnson. But I spoke about Jamie Cripps and being underestimated in the first 2 finals. He's a quality player, had him in the state 18s, had some time at St Kilda. He'll play a lot of footy for West Coast.
So a goal today for Cripps, 3 last week, 5 in the elimination final against Swan Districts. In goal-kicking form, no doubt. Van Berlo gathered. Strong tackle from Selwood. Ball spilled free. It's there for Kerr. Has to go back to Brown. Back again. Jones towards the outer side. Hutchings. This is trouble for the Falcons. They get away with it, at least in terms of a throw-in. Strong tackle came on Black. Lice at the man there. So pressure straight away in West Perth. Their lead just 4 points. The Royals with a goal and a behind in the early stages of this third term. Both rucks go at it. Cunin gets it eventually. Gets a kick away to the outer side. Leading up strongly. Salisic. He's had his arms chopped. He'll be paid the free. So the skipper moves it on quickly. Down the outer side. Wilson did well. Got in front. Saw it over the boundary line. Wayne Wilson's been very impressive for East Perth. Made his AFL debut this year as well.
Yeah, it's been good in this final series.
It's a great reader of the footy. It's his super strength. Play off, zone off, and then modern day footy, first class.
Johnson won it down. Selwood over it. Ball locked in. Umpire lurks. He'll ball it up.
Looks like Selwood has gone to Hutchings. Lee at the moment being picked up down in the forward line by Andrew Strike. There was no rain during the half-time breaks for our viewers, so sunshine prevailing. Wolf got the hurried kick. It was chopped off, however. Gets a second chance. Hacks the ball out of the pack straight onto the chest, however, of Jordan Jones. Hand pass to Strike. So Strike, long kick to the half-forward line. Looking for the skipper in Salisic. Mel Dennis has been wearing him closely all day. So 4 points the margin, 4 minutes into the premiership, the quarter they call the premiership quarter. So important. The 2 19s. Johnson gets to the front of the pack. Taken though by Gordon. He's been good at the stoppages. No mark taken by Manning. Second effort was good. Released a semblance of a hand pass. Morton had a fresh air shot. The ball's still alive. Kerr got it up to Manning. Manning works a hand pass along the ground to Gwadnan. To Strike. His hand pass not good. Selwood first there. Rode a bump and got a kick away. Swan leading Rasmussen to the footy. Hand passes over his shoulder. Lee to Oakley Nichols to Sweet. Subiaco Oval opening up for the Royals here as Wolf accepts the hand pass and delivers beautifully to Cripps. Just dropped off Jordan Jones. Read the play nicely. Made himself available. And a good pass by Craig Wolf. You'll see Selwood there just wearing one a bit after he got rid of it. The umpire, I don't think, saw that. Otherwise, there would have been a free kick down the ground. It was a bit rough. Good crowd in here at Subiaco Oval today, despite the weather. 19,911 as Jamie Cripps comes in, kicks from about 48 metres, and he has lost that one to the right-hand side. Goal umpire and boundary umpire confer, and it's registered as a one behind.
Blue dot, yeah. That's good, Scotty.
Yeah, boys, Adam Selwood just coming to the bench. It looks like he's got some sort of injury with his left leg there. I know he got hit hard there by Cody Manning, but just making his way to the bench, and he's in a little bit of pain, so I'll keep my eye on that for you.
He looks a bit sore to me today. Selwood has done for quite a bit of it.
Strike with the kicking. Finds Jones. Moves West Perth into attack down the line. Rodder did well. Sweeping hand pass. Patenti kicked a terrific goal earlier in this game. Sends it long inside the attacking 50. Front position was Morton. Was able to do enough to bring it to ground. Anderson beyond defensive 50. Johnson. Hand passes back inboard. Grover moving it on. Stolen away by Van Berlo. Diving over the top. Rodder tried to just work it forward. Crisp goes in. The ball locked in. Umpire balls it up. Johnson.
That was a horrible kick from Patenti going forward. Salisic had, I reckon, 15 metres on his opponent, and he's kicked it that high, came down, had snow on it, I reckon.
We've had everything else today in the weather.
So from the ruck battle, Salisic gets a kick away around the body. Wilson took front position, was able to trap it, dives over the top of it, slaps it out. Kerr might get another opportunity, throws it on the boot. Man back there in Morton. Last man in defence just about, was able to scoop it up. Found Wilson, who finds Sweets. And Sweet will go towards centre-half back, and Bennell marks for the Royals.
Player we haven't seen much of today, but Bennell has spotted his skipper just behind right centre wing, southern side of Subi Oval. Lee gets on with it quickly. Beautiful pass to Seal, who didn't have to break stride. Gets on with it quickly. Goes up towards Smith. Couldn't quite complete the falling mark. Lysett has it. Runs into the vacant goal square and kicks his second goal today from a metre out. All of the scoring being done by East Perth. They've got the lead back. 7.5 minutes into this third quarter. 10 goals, 6. The Royals. West Perth 10-3.
Well, just well done again there. Found the player free. Gee, Smith nearly marked that. That was a terrific effort by him. And just the field came down with him. Left Lysett standing. Kicked the ball up and ran into an open goal. So well done there by Lysett in the end. But great effort back here by Lee. Lee's had a heap of the ball. Leading possession, get it on the ground. He's knocking up, getting him. And there's a skipper, he's leading from the front.
Hard running from Seal again. Great running from him.
Selwood looks like he's in a world of pain here, boys. He's obviously carried something into the game. He's got that left leg strapped and he's just had it re-strapped. You would expect him to go back onto the ground, but at 100%, I'm not quite sure.
Thanks, Michael. Hard kick away. Came from Nelson. Still there on the outer side. Comes to Crisp now. Hand pass forward. Johnson's back there. Does the defensive work. He turns it over, though. Kerr got it. Umpire spots a free kick. Free kick here.
Johnson got it after he got rid of the handball.
Well, it's silly because they were going to get possession of the ball, West Perth. I mean, there was nothing to be gained out of knocking him over, pushing him over or whatever, but to give a free kick away. Bad stage, bad place on the ground and then a bad stage. Whereas Perth is starting to get some control again.
Mal Dennis is just able to find Lee. Was surrounded by Falcons. Took the mark though. Sweet runs by. Receives the hand pass. Sends towards the outer side. Over the top of Cadwallader. Rasmussen sees it over the boundary line. There is Adam Selwood. And as we heard from Michael, he certainly appears to be struggling. The left calf heavily strapped at the moment. It's been made to earn every kick today. Every time he's touched the football, there have been Falcons diving on top of him.
Got knocked down a couple of times last week against Claremont as well. So, you know, he's getting a bit older. Might have carried a bit of residual soreness into today.
Wolf slaps it forward to Lee. Sweet. Kick was touched just inside the attacking 50. Back there, though, was Seal. Now Cadwallader. As the umpire said here, it's going to be a free kick towards the Falcons. No effort to get rid of the football, the call. So Rasmussen will have it in the left back pocket for West Perth.
Lee's been outstanding, hasn't he, Judge? He's pushing 30 possessions and we're not even 10 minutes into the third quarter, 26 at the moment.
Rasmussen kicks to a big contest, no mark paid. Wilson for the Royals gives it off to Sweet, who's been very prominent in the opening part of this third quarter. Wolf attacks the footy with Rasmussen. He's tackled. The ball jolts free and it's taken by a strike across his body.
50.
And really, well, it's going to be 50 metres. So the players want to go on with it. I can't see the point in the East Perth players going on with it. Cripps comes in. It's been reversed.
And so it should, Phil.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't. There's no explanation for some of the stupid things that are done on footy fields. And Jamie Cripps has got to hold his head in shame. He needed to stay right out of it. the situation's been reversed. East Perth had 50 metres. It was almost a certain goal. Salisic to Guadnan. Guadnan now lays it off to Nelson. He goes with a long-range shot from just inside 50. What's happened here? It's been marked on the goal line by Hutchings.
He's saying he marked it in the goal square. It should be straight in front. That's the correct decision if he's marked it inside.
You're right, Brad.
This should have been an East Perth, around about a shot at goal.
Pretty close to it.
And now it's going to be an easy shot.
So Hutchings comes in, puts it through. Well, Bradley, will that be a pivotal play in this game? Certainly Brian Dawson is not at all happy with what's just happened.
I reckon he's saying, pointing the finger, you go out and tell young Jamie Cripps that he owes us more than just one. We see the replay here, really a bit late from the captain from West Perth, Salisic there. Probably could have pulled out. 50, was it there? Who knows? But it was a certain goal and certain shot on goal. And when you've got that, Judgy, when you've got that in your hands already, it's just undisciplined. You know, this stuff on screen now, just walk away. You've got the shot on goal.
Well, this was, I mean, Cripps has come in late, is the thing. Other than all this little bit of push and shove, it's probably a bit soft. He's gone down, but he didn't need to be involved in it.
Correct.
Stayed out of it. And they've been almost having a shot on goal, the Royals. West Perth back into attack again. Wilson met it solidly. Fraser was able to find it back. Great smother came from Salisic. They'll sweep it forward. Crisp shoots a goal and he kicks it. Oh, the celebrations of the West Perth players and supporters. What a big couple of minutes this has been. A massive turnaround. And West Perth making East Perth pay at the moment. They've kicked 2 in a row and they stretch that lead out again. Goodness me, 9 points now, Judgy.
Well, it was a smother of the captain there. It's great. He's been involved in 2 plays. The captain gave away 50 metres and got it reversed, which is wonderful leadership. And then plays a great smother there that caused a turnover and you get a goal. So
he's actually sent it back to Billy Monaghan now. Say, look, we're even now, Bill. Yeah. Gave away the one. Now I've got you one back. But he's been involved seriously.
Yeah, you can say, but I just set him up, Bill. I got him a bit angry and we got the ball back.
Well, he's made up for it in spades. And quite a remarkable game. Still the pendulum continues to swing. How long can this go on for? Johnson got a hand to it. Hunting it down there was Manning. Got it off to Hutchings. Tumbles the ball up towards the attacking 50. Coming out is White. He's taken a tackle. Was there prior opportunity? The umpire's a long, hard look, holding the footy.
Crowd starting to get involved. They've woken up now, the West Perth faithful.
Now Kerr's kicked 3, lays it off to Manning. Oh, that's a horrible kick. I was just going to say, what a good player Cody Manning has been in this grand final. He just needed to do so much better. Do not waste possession in a match like this so easily.
So how do East Perth respond? Wilson, switch of play to the outer side. Seal marks, he plays on. Heads down the wing. Cadwallader marking on his chest.
It's a good kick from Matthew Seal.
Bright sunshine again here at Subiaco in the 2013 grand final. Kick was low down. Grover able to gather, but then got tackled by Bartholomew. Ball spilled out to Morton. Has to go back by hand. Maldennis under real pressure. Bounces up off the ground again, but he'll get a free kick. Against Bartholomew, taken high. That's the first one. And then that's the free kick there. So Maldennis towards right half forward. Big pack there. Punch came down. Seal. He met it, then was met solidly by Strike in a tackle. Umpire will ball it up. It's been entertaining.
This is where East Perth actually need to take a breath and slow it down a little bit with all the momentum with the West Perth side at the moment.
Hutchings out of the contest. Blind kick went straight to Morton. It's just fractionally forward of the outer wing proper. Too high for Oakley Nichols. An unforced error there by Morton. And again, see, there's a sore Andrew Strike. Obviously in that collision just a few moments ago, he has taken one. And that you can see the left shoulder so heavily strapped that it looks as though he may have worn the brunt of it on that left shoulder. They can ill afford to lose him. He's been so important to them, not just today, but the entire season. Johnson from behind, Coonan in front. They both got a bit of it. Guadnan tapped the ball to the boundary line. Fraser gets there first. And again, they're just too severe with their tackling. You don't need... Now, that the umpire called play on. Gee, they didn't have much advantage there, but again, just just need to take a little bit more care. I know that's a contradiction of terms in some way, but when the player's head is there, you've just got to be so certain you don't make any contact with it.
Ball spun back in, the 219s once more. Comes out the front. Wolf slapping it forward. Oakley Nichols. And it bounds on the full. Could be a throw in. Off the hand, not the foot. Nice to see a few people in the crowd on the outer side waving away. Those who braved the conditions. Extreme weather warning was predicted. So those that have turned up at Subiaco certainly been brave. They brought their raincoats. They've enjoyed what they've seen out on the park so far. Again, both rucks have a tap. Comes down to Guadnan. Got it away to Black. Waiting underneath at Anderson. He marks for the Royals. He'll switch play off. Terrible kick. Not what he wanted at all. Bennell has to go back under pressure from Salisic. Salisic still there. Can he get it away for the Falcons? He can't. Bennell did well. Eventually was able to scoop it up. Oh, Manning crashes into him after he got rid of the football. Oh, he's still in a bit of trouble here, Bennell. He's on report as well. Leaping up into the air. Manning got Bennell high. Lucky there's no next week to worry about. Kick is long inside the attacking 50. One could take the mark. It's off hands and through for a minor score. East Perth going to be 10-7-67. They still trail the Falcons who are 12-3-75. 17 and a bit gone third term.
Good to see Bennell up and about, but gee, that was a risky exercise by Stephen Brown. He must have been aware of a man the size of... Was it Smith or Cadwallader who came in from the side?
Cadwallader, I think.
Oh, OK. Well, maybe he's forgiven. He's half the size of Josh Smith. Still, it was risky. And now they've got a stoppage close to goal. Running in, leading with his head was Swan. And no prior opportunity, said the umpire, give it to me. So 8 points the difference. So we're still hearing about the fact that Manning is on report for a charge. Ball up, Jones, check side kick, defensively toward the boundary line. Patenti was holding on and the umpire saw it. Free kick going the way of White. So White is going to concede some ground, goes right back the defensive side of the centre square, through the hands of Wilson. Now he's in trouble. Mellington applies the body pressure. Mellington gathers the footy. He's 48 metres out and he wastes a golden opportunity.
Did.
I think he had Kerr on his left-hand side
Kerr
as well.
on the outside, he could have given to.
Gee, the things that happen in grand finals, you get a chance to reflect on them for years and years and years to come, but that one should have been a goal from Josh Mellington.
Well, he probably had more time to straighten up and kick it properly himself.
Wilson, for a moment, looked like he almost was about to slip over, but he kept his feet, took the mark. Now kicks to the outer side.
Shanked that.
Terrible kick again. Chance now for Jones. Runs to 52 out. Sends it long towards goal. He'll miss. Morton was there anyway.
Clint,
another minor score.
Clint, we got Andrew's strike just on the boundary at the moment. You can see him grimacing in pain with that right shoulder, which he took a hit in. He actually told the doctor he was okay. He's pushed him away and said, let me back on. So it's a grand final. He wants to get back out there.
So Morton has kicked for distance, and that was the collision there that really bore the brunt of the impact, and Andrew Strike is feeling it.
And a tackle on Swan, wasn't it? It was.
Yeah, the umpire is just debating whether or not it should be a free kick.
His
or
left shoulder, isn't it? Isn't it the left one that he's tried to brace himself with?
That's what I thought, but
took all the weight.
Andrew throw in. Rodder in ruck opposed to Lyset. Lyset, predictably enough, wins the tap. Hutchings had an opportunity, so too Payne. Possession's hard to get. Nelson does well to get it off to Kerr, then to Black. He was dragged down, but not before he got it off to Van Berlo from one step up into the pocket. Oh, great contested mark taken by White.
Gee, that was a good mark.
Terrific courage by White. Sends the ball straight down the corridor and finds Matt Seal, who bounces off Black. Black looks around to the umpire and says, is that fair? Seal looking for Selwood. Selwood dropped what he should have probably taken, lays the hand pass off to Payne. He was dragged down, but Nell taking a very good tackle. Now what the umpire do, that's got to be holding the footy, it is.
They've gone up a gear, Ken.
Well, they have. West Perth have just gone up a gear. East Perth have just... They've got East Perth a bit on the back foot here.
Listen to the voice. It's mainly West Perth voice.
But they've got to put scoreboard pressure on now. They've actually just taken a slight initiative in this game, but they've got to put some pressure on the scoreboard.
Brown's kick was an absolute shocker. Went straight to Lysette. They've just got the momentum up at the moment, but they're really not making East Perth feel the way they should. Lysette back to a contest. Nearly a mark taken by Brown. Picking it up, Grover couldn't get it to his boot. Van Burlow taking an attack. Well, the umpire says high. Early call by Ken Judge.
Well, he sort of, there was a pregnant pause like he was going to penalise him, and then pays high.
10 points the margin.
Which was obvious from the get-go.
Been in the wars today, Van Burlow.
It's been okay too, Van Burlow.
Has. Kicks down the line. Good mark! Strong start from Strike.
Nothing wrong with him.
I'd get him in the midfield.
Yeah.
Bigger body, 20-minute mark.
Strike into the right forward pocket. Now, the Royals had the numbers.
Give a rap on his kick and kicks it straight to East Perth.
Straight down to the throat of Wilson. He'll switch play looking for Swan. And Marks running with the flight of the football. Pause for a moment to allow players to get forward of him.
Not as much run at the moment, East Perth.
Swan. He wants to find Sweet in the contest. Ball goes to ground. Manning tries to tap it out. Sweet with another opportunity. On to Lee. Tackled by Guadagnon. Ball spilled free. Well done, Guadagnon. Came out to Van Burlow. Puts the kick high up in the air. Royals again with plenty of numbers. They collide with each other. Derek Scott tackled by Bartholomew. Ball spilled out. Payne scoops it up. Goes back to Wilson. Surrounded by Falcons. Got to kick away though to the outer side. Leaping up Kerr. Taps it but only as far as Sweet. He's got it for the Royals. Chips the right half forward. Finds Oakley Nichols. Again.
The loose player back. West Perth.
3-on-2 inside the attacking 50 in favour of the Falcons. The kick is off hands eventually and over for a boundary throw-in.
Well, I had to go there because there was a loose man back, so they had to kick the ball wide. So he positioned himself well there, Black.
Allows them to set up for this throw-in. Lysett, beautiful tap to Selwood. He snaps, but he misses. Hurried kick away, not quite where he wanted it. Minor score.
You just feel, Ken, that West Perth need to, as you said, get another goal or two in front. Otherwise, if East Perth can hang on, then they're the ones that could probably stay within the game.
Well, they've had a couple of shots at goal they should have converted.
Jordan Jones goes to the long kick. Patenti over the top of Strike. Seal gathered it at ground level and went to Lee. Now Wilson. Good looking kick in toward full forward. Taken there by Tedesco. Hand pass had a little bit of panic attached to it. Black was dispossessed. East Perth players arrive in numbers. Umpire was right on hand. Had a good look at it. They are really applying the pressure. You just get the feel that West Perth didn't get the value for some of their forward sorties that they needed. They let a bit slip there. Comes down to Seal, backs into the pack, hand pass over his shoulder. Black might have been taken high. Umpire says play on. The ball is under there somewhere. It is desperate stakes at the moment.
Well, what they don't need, West Perth, is to let East Perth in for a goal here, because it would really be a double whammy to them. They've let them off the hook here with not taking a couple of opportunities.
Well, they've got all their numbers back in an attempt not to, but it went down to Grover. Grover got a hand pass off. Umpire again, holding the... No, he's going to bounce this one. Tedesco wrapped up the East Perth player in a tackle.
And Swan, he was looking for the high Swan. He's just trying to pull the head in a bit.
Again, Lysett, but it was taken by Black. Ball smothered. In went Swan. Again, so the umpire working overtime at the moment. This is a critical little patch of play. 24 and a half minutes gone in the third quarter. 9-point lead.
Separate.
By West Perth. Deep in the East Perth attacking zone. Lysett, a great tap down to Swan, but he wasn't going anywhere. So once again, after that...
that's about the third time Swan's just taken the ball and tried to barge through. The umpire, you've got to penalise him.
When a West Perth defender's going to realise he's on the fly.
Lysett wins the tap, down to Van Burlow, tackled immediately by Cripps. Comes out for the Falcons though, they can clear through Kerr. Down the line, East Perth with numbers. Free kick. It's going to go West Perth's way.
We're not actually playing rugby, was the point I was trying to get at.
Patenti towards Cunin. Chance just needs to find his target. Will it stay in? It will. Mark taken by Fowler.
They need more from him, Clint. Fowler hasn't done enough.
No. Chucky, he should have got it on then to Black. It was on his own.
He wants the Cinderella story goal from the moment he marked it.
Well, he's going to be kicking out of the heavy conditions here.
Needs to get one of the security guards to move a little bit too. 21-year-old. 21st game today in the WAFL. From outside the boundary, this would be something special. It's very special. No wonder he went back and had the shot at goal. Oh, West Perth, they're up and about.
Cinderella flower.
No doubt. He wanted it. There was no way in the world, as a good full forward probably usually does. As soon as he marked it, he pretended to look inside, but he was one thing in mind.
Well, if you kick the goal, that's all that matters, doesn't it? He did exactly that. An important goal. He's only had 3 disposals for the day, so that's a pretty handy one of the 3.
He liked it a bit too and had a bit to say to the crowd. 13-5-83 West Perth, East Perth 10-8, 68, 26 and a half gone third term.
Well, if you've been a bit quiet, one way to get yourself into the game, and there aren't too many better ways than that. That was a fabulous kick by Fowler. Coonan got a hand to it. Lysette gets both hands on it, but couldn't get a disposal away. Has another attempt. Jason Salisic is in there, still leading from the front. In fact, Salisic and Hutchings both had Scott Lysette wrapped up. Lysette, hand on it. Nelson gets the high kick. The umpire says he'll pay the mark, so Mel Dennis says it's mine. All to play on. Gee, got himself out of trouble rather easily in the end, Ryan Mel Dennis. Goes towards centre-half forward. West Perth had the numbers there. At ground level, Tedesco gathers the footy. Didn't get a clearing disposal away. Maruzic got it off to strike. He couldn't get his boot to it. Through went Hutchings with great courage. In fact, it was Rasmussen. The ball's still alive there. Gathering it is Smith. Gets a hand pass looking for Cripps. A little bit too hot for him. Brown is there, so too Black. Strike. Oh, did well. The kick not very composed, but he managed to grubber it off to Salisic. He gave it to Maruzic, tackled front on by Wilson. And that ball was halved between Wilson and Maruzic, the 2 number 20s. And there'll be a throw-in on the right half-forward flank for the Royals.
Withstood the pressure then, West Perth, in their back half.
Watch him, mate.
Kicked 3 unanswered goals, the Falcons, after East Perth kicked the first 2 of this term. From the throw-in, came down towards Lee, spun out of trouble, but his hand pass under pressure was straight to Hutchings. Heads down the outer side. Anderson missed it. Fowler behind him, was happy to gather. Just puts it out in front of a teammate who can run onto it. Nelson goes to the ground. Umpire will pay the free kick.
Rodder, is it Rodder?
Rodder it is, I beg your pardon.
He wasn't going to win stall gift. No runner for that.
In the end, he got a gift.
He did.
One of WA's under 18s in 2012.
I'm not talking the Monday. He wouldn't have won on the Saturday either, I don't think.
Be kicking from well outside 50. Won't get anywhere near the distance. It'll fall on the hot spot. Front position, Bartholomew couldn't mark. Sweet did well. Got it away to Wolf. Kicks to the outer side. Mark taken by Salisic, who can put it back towards left half forward. He does so. The West Perth captain. There's Rodder again. So Rodder glanced inboard for a moment. Kicks into the left forward pocket. Best position. Lysette goes up. Couldn't mark. Manning gathers. Got tackled by Wilson. Came out again. Well, that was a little bit theatrical from Millington. Back to Jones. Puts it up towards full forward and Patenti marks. Stephen Patenti.
Gee, these last couple of goals, he kicks this, are big goals in the context of the game, aren't they?
Take a bow, Mark Hutchings. He was the one, looked like a poor kick from Rodder coming in. He actually made the contest with Lysette to bring that ball to ground.
Stephen Patenti has hit the post. 16-point ball game. Should have been a goal though.
Pivotal what's going through Stephen Patenti's mind at the moment. He just needs to blanket that out, get his mind focused back on the job. There is a long way to go in this grand final, albeit we've travelled 30 minutes into the third. Wilson, a little bit risky. Rodder puts a punch into it. Fowler to Hutchings. He's under pressure. The ball smothered by Wolf. Nelson keeps it alive. Here's a chance for Mellington. He's missed as well. Opportunity's gone begging. Could have almost put East Perth under enormous pressure going into the three-quarter time change.
I agree. I reckon they've had 4 shots at goal in this quarter. Certainly 3 and a possible 4th they should have got.
And yet they kicked one of the most miraculous ones from Fowler from outside the boundary at right half forward. Ball's on the outer side. Cadwallader over it. Marusic tackles him. Ball comes out to Seal. He's tackled, lost possession. Lee to Wolf, quick hand pass, finds Johnson. They're away now, the Royals. Sweet, heads into the right forward pocket. Cripps running with the flight. Cripps marks, Cripps, goals! He's got his second at East Perth. They're able to reply as we head towards three-quarter time, and they desperately needed to do so. When West Perth have had so many opportunities, the Royals, when they went forward, were able to take one.
Well, that's exactly the story of so many games of football we see where sides can dominate for a period, don't put scoreboard pressure on, and it's almost a double whammy. It goes to the other end of the ground, and the side opposition kick a goal, and it keeps them 11 points behind, and still well and truly in the game, and they could quite easily have been 30 plus points behind. 30 plus points behind.
They've kicked 3 goals in this term, East Perth. Jamie Cripps has kicked 2 of them. Umpire hammers the ball into the turf. Coonan won that one. Wolf in the back. But it was just downward momentum. I think he had to fall into Nelson's back at the end. Here's Brown charging it off the back end of the centre square. That's a great kick to Jordan Jones. He's got it at right half forward. Time is of the essence. He goes looking for Fowler. Just had too much elevation for him. Knocked over the line by Anderson. They've been long quarters this afternoon.
This afternoon?
This year.
Try 2013.
2012. They're getting longer. I'm not too sure if the budget extends to turning the lights on. It's getting dim. The western sky looks pretty bleak. Lysette down, taken though brilliantly by Van Berlo. The high kick. Who can mark this? Double-fisted Marcus White out toward the boundary line. Bartholomew's there first as the siren goes. Three-quarter time in the 2013 Grand Final. 1 turn to go. So much at stake. What a game we have had. West Perth, 13 goals, 7-85, leading East Perth, 11 goals, 8. The margin, 11 points as it was at half-time. Gets on with it quickly, goes up towards Smith, couldn't quite complete the falling mark. Lysette has it, runs into the vacant goal square. Ball jolts free and it's taken by a strike across his body. 50. And really, well, it's going to be 50 metres. So the players want to go on with it. I can't see the point in the East Perth players going on with it. Cripps comes in, it's been reversed.
Wilson met it solidly. Fraser was able to find it back. Great smother came from Salisic. They'll sweep it forward. Cripps shoots a goal and he kicks it. Oh, the celebrations from the West Perth players and supporters.
I think the one thing that we can take out of the first 3 quarters of this grand final is to expect the unexpected. I think that's going to continue in this final quarter. One thing that has continued throughout the course of the afternoon is this perpetual momentum swing. We've seen it from the very first bounce, and I think we're going to see it right throughout the course of this final quarter as well. Not much achieved by West Perth in the context of their lead. They've maintained an 11-point lead with a quarter to go. They've got the breeze. Have they got enough in the legs, Brad?
Not for mine. I don't think they took their opportunities, Ken. We spoke about how many chances they did have. I think that the 3-tier end or to the right of screen, I don't think it causes too many problems. We've seen goals scored there. I think they didn't take their opportunity, but they certainly had a lot of play and certainly a lot of momentum. But for mine, just didn't take their chances, and we saw how quickly East Perth can actually reverse it and get the score on the board. But the leg speed and the actual fitness will be the key, Ken, in this last quarter.
Yeah, I mean, it's disappointing from West Perth's point of view. They had some opportunities there to have opened up probably a 5-goal lead, I reckon, perhaps even a little more. Didn't take them, and then East Perth grabbed that one late in the quarter, which just gives them some breathing space. East Perth's point of view, Brian Dawson's probably speaking to them saying, look, they threw a fair bit out of that quarter. We're only less than two kicks behind here. We're well and truly in this game. We can get this. We can take this game if we want. West Perth, on the other hand, and it happens as a group, you sort of think, gee, we've outplayed them there. You come in at 3/4 time, you look up the scoreboard and look, we should be further in front than that. They just didn't take it. It's what mentally that's going to do to both sides is important. And I just keep harking back to this fact of the East Perth listed AFL players, whether their fitness level, and that may come to the fore in the end of this game. I don't know. Let's wait and see. I think the game has still got a few twists and turns yet to happen.
Yeah, that's the point I'm making. Well, the players are taking a breath. We need to take a breath as well and have a look at the goal scorers with 3/4 of the grand final having passed us by. Kerr and Hutchings for West Perth have 3. Crisp and Mellington for West Perth have 2. Salisic, Fowler and Patenti 1 each. And for the Royals, 4 players with 2 goals. Seal, Smith, Lysett and Cripps, with both of these in that term. Wolf, Johnson and Swan have kicked 1. And there's been a lot to like about Mark Hutchings' game. 3 goals from 22 possessions. He's got himself up there for the Norm Smith medal stakes. So too has young Shane Nelson. Kerr's had 14 possessions. Crisp has had 13 possessions and 2 goals. Wadman, 18 possessions. Black, 17 I should say. Salisic, 12. He's kicked a goal as well. Mellington, 2-2 from 9 possessions. And for East Perth, leading from the front with 31 possessions, if you don't mind, is Brendan Lee. Sweets had 24. 21 to Wolf. Seal, 2 goals from 15 possessions. Wilson in defence, 17 possessions, 19 to Selwood. Cripps, 2 goals, 2 from 9 possessions, 11 possessions to Cameron Grover. And Judgy, again, there's nothing much, has it?
Well, again, 251 to 54 in possession, so there's nothing. Marks very little again. The inside 50s, well, they've levelled right up as well. Hit-outs, East Perth have dominated, but they've been better at ground level. West Perth, they've won the ball away at the contest, considering you've dominated with 64 hit-outs to 29, and the centre breaks, an area that's so important. And in the end, if you analyse that fact, you'd say, well, hang on, we've won the hit-out 64 to 29, but we've been beaten 19-8 out of the centre. Our work at ground level hasn't been good enough, I'd say, and that could become a factor in this last quarter.
It's just another one of the anomalies coming out of this game. Let's go into the Royals huddle. A quarter to go in this season. Here's Brian Dawson talking to his charges.
We're at our best in the last quarter, boys. Okay, this is when you really stand up in the crunch time, and the belief just emanates amongst the group that we're going to get the job done.
Well, as is his expertise, Michael Genovese, Brian Dawson really having a calming influence on his team.
Yeah, that's exactly right. As you mentioned earlier, East Perth dominating the hit-outs, but they just can't take advantage of that. But they're 11 points down at 3/4 time of the grand final. The message down here was to just take the game on. They want to encourage as much spread as they can from their midfielders. They want to try and switch and use the width of Subiaco Oval because they need to get back into this game. Craig Wolf, interestingly enough, pulled all the players in nice and close prior to the coach coming out, and he just said every single one of them needed to lift individually. So it'll be interesting to see how they go this final quarter.
Thanks, Michael. Rod Willett has Bill Monaghan.
Thanks, Phil. Billy, a couple of shots that you should have got. You need that scoreboard pressure.
We do. Look, our pressure really lifted after probably the first 5 or 6 minutes of that quarter. We were able to turn the ball over. We just didn't help ourselves in front of goals, but we still kicked a lot better than we did second semi-final day.
Now, are you praying for rain, or do you think you've got to kick 3 or 4 to win?
Oh, look, we just need to keep doing what we're doing, trying to get the ball in our forward 50, lock it in there until the scoreboard gets hit. So, no, we don't need rain. We need 4-quarter effort.
Coonan's been fantastic up against the other 2 tools from East Perth. Can he keep going?
I think he can, and Rods has been really good when he's pinch hit in there too. So, look, the boys have all been fantastic. We've got 30 minutes to go.
Good luck, Mark.
It's a rivalry that is more than a century old, and there's a quarter left to play in this, the 129th WAFL Grand Final. A premiership at stake. Will West Perth win their 19th, or the Royals their 18th? We've got about half an hour to play, and we're underway in the final term. Johnson wins it down for the Royals. Came quickly to Lee, trying to get a hand pass out to Maldenis. Collides with Manning, allows Hutchings to pick it up. Strong tackle came from Morton, but high. Hutchings, he'll take the free kick at left half forward. He's been terrific this afternoon. Chips, finds Kerr. Kerr pauses. Strong lead from Crisp. That's ignored. Kerr with 3 goals. Looks to move it short again. Now it's with Crisp. We're going to the left forward pocket. Leaping Fowler. Couldn't mark. Ball's over the boundary line.
Early onset of cramp.
And Ken's made comment of the fitness concerns. Certainly with East Perth, with a number of AFL listed players, will they be able to run it out better than the Falcons can? Front position, Johnson got a palm to it. Van Berlo, hurried kick away. Mark's been paid to Manning. He thought about playing on quickly, but he will go back and take his kick.
I think the distance of the kick was going through his mind, Clint.
Yeah, I think that's what he was worried about.
Not sure if you'd be wanting to purchase real estate from the umpire. Cody Manning from right on 50. This is a big kick. This is a big goal for West Perth. The first of the final term. Their lead is 17 points.
Big kick in the context of the game. Important to get an early goal to start this last quarter. They've got that, West Perth. They've continued on that momentum. Well, they had the majority of the momentum in that third quarter. East Perth got that one back late, so you tended to think maybe they'd stem the flow, but to get one early in this last quarter is exactly the start they needed. And gee, another one or two quickly might nearly just about put the game out of the reach for the Royals.
Spoken about East Perth's AFL listed boys, but Hutchings on an AFL list. Van Berlo's been on one. Nelson and Black will run all day for you as well.
Yeah, good point, Brad. As Gwadden been so good in the centre, so too Nelson. They combine to get the centre clearance. Ball cartwheels over the boundary line. They've got it to where they want it to be on their half-forward line. I didn't have the opportunity to say for the 27th consecutive week the first goal in the last quarter is going to be important. Because they got it nice and early. It was. Because they've stretched the margin to 17 points. Coonan got a hand to it. A big fist by Mellington. Johnson returns the favour with a tap down to Lee. Falling hand pass to Sweet. He controlled it brilliantly. Fired the hand pass off to Burnell. Burnell, sweet little footpath into the space. Cripps running into that space. Gathers it. He's right in the forward pocket. Props. Stops. Across his body. Easy as you like. And Jamie Cripps has got three. Quickest of replies. Why wouldn't it be? It's the way this game has gone all day. Remarkable grand final, and it is going to be remarkable right through until the final siren, one thinks.
What's he's kicked 11 now in the finals. 5, 3 and 3, did it? I reckon in the 3 finals. So he's been a good contributor from Cripps, and as we discussed last week, he just plays at this level now like he's above this level. You know, sometimes they get that taste at AFL level and they come back and they play at this level like I'm actually above this level of football. And I think Cripps is one player by his exposure he's had at AFL level this year is now playing footy at WAFL level exactly like that.
So about to get the restart. Great response from East Perth. It's been a terrific game of footy. Coonan won it down. Meeting it solidly was Manning, but met by Seal. Ball spills out. Wolf goes in, doing the hard work. Hurried kick only as far as Gwadden. Now to Hutchings. Sweeps the hand pass out to Black. Black kicks towards right half forward. Fowler went over the top of his outstretched arm. And Anderson sees it over the boundary line.
It's been good, Gwadden.
He's been terrific, hasn't he? And, tough, and just getting... His possessions may not be the most on the ground, but contested possessions would be right up there with the best. The rain is starting to fall again. Johnson gets a big fist into it, taken by Selwood. He rides another bump. Hand pass to Sweet. Paddles the ball back to Selwood, trying to get the hand pass off to Seal.
I think that's in West Perth's favour, Philip, if it rains.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
It's got to help their chances with a couple of goal buffer at this stage.
The flags on the scoreboard are at full stretch as Johnson got the tap, but he'd erred by getting into the back of Coonan. That's a big win by Chris Coonan. Paul Johnson is one of the most awarded free kick players in the competition this year, as well as one of the most penalised. The ball ricocheted to Sweet. He was taken in a tackle and sat down.
Can't make up his mind what he wants to be.
Light rain, but you can tell from the western sky, well, forget the western sky, it's just closing in on us now. We're going to get some more heavy rain, you would think. Nelson got the quick clearance. Mark taken there by Rodder. Bill Monahan drew attention to him when he was with Rod Willett at three-quarter time. He's done some important relieving ruck work and then just anticipated brilliantly, strong hands, and he has got a chance to extend the lead again to 17 points.
Well, with a bit of rain coming, 17-point lead's going to be pretty handy if he can kick this.
Well, the ball is still relatively dry at this stage. He kicks from the pocket. He loves it. The margin is 17 points. Nick Rodder has kicked his first for the afternoon. Bill Monahan with his team in the box. Long way to go yet. They know that.
There's a long way to go, Philip. You just sense they might just have the answers at the moment, West Perth. They're not hanging on. They've got an answer. They've got an answer. When West Perth have kicked a goal, or East Perth have kicked a goal, or they've looked like they're going to threaten, or in particular in the second half, they've just steadied West Perth, and they've actually kicked another one themselves there. Things might just be starting to fall in place here for West Perth.
Shane Nelson involved again, up to 27 possessions now. Was the one that won it at that stoppage, that quick kick in. Good mark from Rodder.
9 different goal kickers now for West Perth. Will East Perth be able to respond again? Cunin, though, wins the tap. Hutchings lurking. Hurry kick away from Nelson. There's another one for you, Brad. Bounces up towards centre-half forward. Taken by Millington. Had to go back to Crisp. But hassled out of it. Umpire said play on. Wilson with the clearing kick into the middle of the ground. Smith tried to trap it. Came back to Selwood. On in turn to Swan. Swan goes on a bit of a run. He launches it long. Needs a lucky bounce. Won't get it. Minor score.
Really needed to do better than that.
Yeah,
he needed to lower his vision. And
well, he wanted to do it himself, didn't he? He needed to feed that off.
Well, had it worked, it would have been something, but it was a behind. Tedesco does a kicking in. Marcus White goes up. That was a telling punch. He got it down to Sweet, who had an opportunity, didn't take it. It just slewed off the side of his boot, and West Perth have been able to manoeuvre it over the line for a throw-in.
Sweet's been one of the East Perth players that has actually provided with them with some leg speed and some run. Sort of thought where that was going to come from. He's been pretty good.
Oh, that's his strength, isn't it? He is very, very good across the ground. Boundary throw-in. Johnson wins the tap. They're not going to get first hands on it. Brown feeds the hand pass through from behind. They were happy for a 16-point lead to become 15. A lot of anxious people in the crowd. Just looking at the crowd has blown up over since half-time. I reckon a lot of people have come in. It's now just over 20,000.
Those who've turned up, they've braved the conditions, but they've been rewarded with a terrific game of footy. That's a good mark from Cunin. He shovels it along the boundary line. Patenti elects just to soccer it forward. Kerr will get there first. He soccers it across half forward. Picked up by Millington. 51 out. It's an open goal square. How does it bounce? To the right for a minor score again. 16 points is the margin once more.
2 goals, 3, Millington.
Yardage footy at its best then, wasn't it? Soccer from Patenti, soccer from
if they could have kicked the goal there, that'd nearly be a game breaker, I reckon. So they've just missed it, but gee, it was good effort. Just knock on Surge on football.
Yeah, that was terrific. I just wonder whether or not Millington had a better option. Morton kicks in. Good strong mark taken by Lysette. Game's still there for East Perth. They have shown the ability to grab the initiative on several occasions during the course of the day. Morton got it off to Mel Dennis. That's not going to help their cause. Off the side of the boot, a little bit too casual with a slippery ball. It's not going to get any drier. This rain is pretty steady. So Hunt right on centre wing.
Good toss to win by Selisic.
From the line, Van Berlo, almost uncontested. He's taken the mark on his chest.
Could be the decision of the day.
I wondered whether he's had some Bureau of Meteorology experience, because he's picked it rather well, I think.
Yep, well, no doubt in consultation with Bill Monahan, but they've worked it out pretty well. Things haven't always gone their way.
Well, that is really sheeting down now, and very strongly in their favour.
Looking at this rain, you want to do the presentations, Phil?
And Burlow, and that's out of bounds on the full, so still players from both sides conspiring just to take the pressure off the opposition at times.
Yeah.
Thanks, Clint. Yeah, nice try.
See if Steve Rebellious raincoat's here, mate.
No, that's my rain jacket. That one downstairs that Brett Sprigg from Radio's using today. Free kick at right half forward.
In all the times I did presentations, because I don't reckon it ever rained once.
That would be my luck.
I hope the makeup doesn't run, mate. It won't look good on the black coat.
Oh, well. It's good. Stops me looking pale and unwell as the kick is inside the attacking 50. Stretching was Salisic. Couldn't drag it in. Another minor score. West Perth. Going to be 15-9. Oh no, it's going to be thrown in again. It is 15-8, 98. So rain does really pour down now. Black couldn't get a hand pass away. Umpire decides to let things play. Picked up by Sweet. Goes back towards Wilson. Hurried kick towards the outer side. Leaping up and unable to mark was White. Just sees it back over the boundary line again. It has almost turned white on the outer side of the ground, looking through the binoculars. The lights are on, and they needed to be as well. It is very dark at Subiaco in the closing stages of the 2013 Grand Final.
This is working perfectly for West Perth.
You can hear the wind in our effects mics as well. Selwood to Swan. Hand pass just behind Sweet. Allows Nelson to gather. Got it on to Bartholomew, who just sees it over the boundary line again.
Well, that's a problem when it gets like this as well. Other than being windy and wet, you've just got to make sure you get purchased with two hands. One-handed stuff's not going to work.
East Perth have got to kick 3 goals to win. And in weather like this, in weather like this, it's going to be like having to kick 6. Close to the boundary line, Oakley Nichols couldn't gather it.
Mate, there's a big rip in the middle of the ground at the middle of the ocean. You just can't get it past the middle.
And the tide surging toward the city end of the ground, which is to the left of screen. Lysette tried to caress it down to Selwood. He couldn't take it, nor could Sweet. Waddenham could. Kicks it along the boundary line. Clever kick too. He made about 25 metres for his team. And it's going to get down to metres and even centimetres, Bradley, as this game draws towards a closure.
Can't win East Perth.
We spoke about the want early on. Now in these conditions, East Perth players, where's your want?
Lysette won the tap, taken by Manning, who's had a terrific game. He's on report, but I don't think he'll be dwelling on that. He kicks from 45 metres right across the face of goal. It's been a heck of a season, for East Perth. They didn't actually get themselves into the 4 ready to play finals until going into round 21. Their season was still in some doubt.
Yep.
Considerable doubt.
They were at one stage at the start of the year, sitting in 8th spot, East Perth, after being thumped by the Falcons by 75 points in the opening round of the season. Falcons at the moment, they'll be happy to settle for the score that's on the board. They're in front. Ball being worked around across half forward for them. Selwood gathers. He's strongly tackled. It's high. East Perth take the advantage. Lee to Sweet. Can he drag it in? He's tackled without the football, surely. They'll take the free kick. East Perth, they need to kick something quickly.
They need one very soon.
Sweet's told to move it on. Chips it up towards Swan, getting back. Curry shown by Hutchings, got a hand in there. Swan elects to soccer it forward. Bounced off Kerr's leg. Swan goes again. Is able to get it out to Lee. Hutchings once more. Another terrific tackle. Ball spills free. What can West Perth do with it? Not much, as Lee effects another tackle to lock it in.
It's not the conditions for it, Ken, but almost time now just to play on at all costs for East Perth.
Yep.
Time to go, take a risk. You're going to lose by 3, let's lose by 5. But if we're going to win it, we're going to take them on.
Johnson palmed it down, just socked it away by Cunin into the middle of the ground. Patenti tried to play it forward, bounced off wide, I reckon. Wolf hits it, he's tackled. Ball's locked in. Umpire says we'll bounce. Mellington doing the tackling. It's tough and tight, but the Royals are running out of time.
Well, conditions tailor-made for Craig Wolf, but he needs to get his hands on the footy. It's Van Berlo who does that. High kick. Fowler knocked it on cleverly to the run of Manning. Manning from well outside 50 goes with a prodigious kick. Kerr's taken it. That could be the grand final. He's got 4 goals. West Perth supporters are sensing greatness here. Terrific effort initially by Fowler. The kick from Manning was terrific as well. You'll see that in replay. And a finger tipper with the wet footy by Kerr. Hasn't he played his part this afternoon?
It's a great kick, wasn't it? Fantastically weighted. Thought he might have gone back and actually taken some time off, but all the momentum. Great effort. 4 goals won, and the one he missed was actually quite easily as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's because he got pushed around there 5 metres on the angle. He would have kicked 5 otherwise.
The follow-up goal from Mellington just gave you indication of how gettable it was.
Wolf, he's got it for the Royals. Kicks towards Swan. Punch came at the back from Strike.
Leaping up Manning. Taken by Nelson. They're away again, the Falcons. Nelson into the left forward pocket, sliding out, marking. Not quite was Fowler. Ball towards the boundary line. It's seen over.
Good, Shuey. Good. No mark.
That could have been all over Red Rover.
I think it's all over anyhow. I just don't think they can do that. They haven't got enough. They've got to have a major change in the impetus of the game to get back in this East Perth. They've done well, West Perth.
High contacts. East Perth will get the free kick. Comes back to Johnson. They need to move it on. The Royals have to get going. Ugly looking kick from Johnson. Might work out okay. Smith in front position. The ball stays in. Payne can't keep it in. Another boundary throw in. What a result it is. West Perth, they might have been the first team here, but they were still the underdogs in this game. The Falcons fans, they start the West Perth chant around Subiaco.
And Bill Monahan having his contract renewed for a further 3 years going forward. Could be the start of an exciting era for the Falcons. Lee, hurried hand pass to Selwood, hurried kick to a contest. Working off that contest was Grover. Goes up towards centre half forward. Great courage shown by Brown.
Fantastic. He knew what was coming.
Yeah, he knows no other way either, Brad.
Exactly.
Brown kicks the ball back from whence he came. Big collision in mid-air. West Perth player came worse off than Johnson. And Salisic sees it over the line. The player winded his rodder, I think.
Yeah, I think that's just a wind.
All in the course of normal business. Jason Salisic just indicating to the umpire there needs to be a bit of a delay because Rodder is looking around for assistance. He'll come from the ground. Coonan probably looking forward to a bit more of a break. He's going to go straight back into the action.
Good play from the skipper to actually alert the umpire. Just give us another couple of seconds, breather.
Coonan got there just in time for the big leap. Hutchings, looking like a Simpson medalist for mine, just kicks the ball along the boundary line. Are we thinking Simpson medal, Hutchings? Oh, sorry.
Not allowed to ask Ken Judge in the corner. He's voting.
Okay. And
it's like you last week with the tribunal. Not allowed to ask you.
And Ken, would you just forget every comment that I've made over the last few minutes?
I haven't answered.
Oh, no, you haven't.
Didn't you gather anything there?
I thought you might have been off. So there's a free kick going the way of West Perth. And that is going to just make things even more difficult for East Perth. The clock now against them, ticking up toward 19 minutes.
There's a free kick downfield. You can just see it in the side of your screen there.
And 50 as well, is it?
Yeah, 50.
Oh, well, that is game, set and match.
Oh, 15. 5.
Hey?
They've changed the rules. It's just the grand final. He's giving him a 5-metre penalty.
That's old school.
Is that 50?
Oh, it's 50 from down here, they're saying. Oh, I thought it was 50. There's something happened down the ground there.
15 metres.
I'm still down here, mate. I'm still down here, Stewie. Stewie, I'm still down here.
So Guadnan.
I'm still coming down here.
Without a goal this afternoon.
They've celebrated well, the West Perth boys, today. I'd hate to see this celebration if it goes through. It'll be a beauty.
Matt Guadnan. They'll be celebrating in Southern Cross tonight. Guadnan, he hits the post. No celebration there, but they're probably only about 10 minutes away, the Falcons, from celebrating what really matters. Well, they'll get another opportunity to have a shot at goal.
Yeah, because the kick was ill-directed. Van Berlo falling forward just read it best, but Matt Guadnan probably deserved a goal. He's played a fabulous game.
There's a pot of gold there for West Perth.
Yeah, the rainbow there.
Thanks, Michael.
Now, he's kicked it laterally. I missed it. I was looking at the rainbow, actually. So, strike. Pretty good man to have it. Too far out to score. Kicks it to a big contest. Coonan went up. Oh, cleverly keeping the ball alive there was Kerr. Grover put a fist into it. They're not out of danger yet. Grover has it. Hand pass to Fraser at close quarters. Josh Smith across his body, smothering Black. Terrific effort. Great pressure by West Perth. Really enjoying this now, you would think, Brad, because they know they've got it won.
Yeah, no better time the last 10 minutes if you're 4 or 5 up to enjoy your labour for the year.
Ball back into play.
Bounces straight back towards the boundary line. Grover happy to see it over. Time continues to tick away for the Royals. This will be spun back into play. There can't be more than 10 minutes left. Keenan in front, won it down. Selwood gathers for the Royals. He kicks towards centre wing, commentary side. Big pack of players are up. No one could take the mark. Hunt in game 150 in the WAFL. Happy to gather, kicks back towards left half forward. Johnson couldn't gather it. Van Berlo there. Crisp sees it over the boundary line for a throw-in.
Played his part today, Mark Crisp, 2 goals, 1 in the second, 1 in the third. Brian Dawson, well, terrific coach, premiership coach. I think it's beyond even him at the moment. Selwood ran into bother, had the presence of mind to get a hand pass away. Oh, Payne maybe had prior opportunity, shaped a hand pass. Black applied the tackle. Hold a significant number of votes too on Monday night. Aaron Black in the Sandover medal. Just reward for the good season he's had, which included state footy. Now, a hold or a push, it's going to be another Adam Selwood free kick.
It's great to see those players playing. Aaron Black, Shane Nelson, who great state players at the junior level. Lammy now going on to be premiership players at their WAFL club. Yeah. 100 game players, 150 game players in the future.
It's going to prove to be a terrific season for them. Derrick's got the short pass from Lee, fumbled, managed to get it off to Grover, to Wilson. That's a good hand pass to Swan, to Sweet, being one of their best. The Aaron Sweet hand pass. He rode a big bump from strike. It falls to Bartholomew, gets the boot into it, away goes Patenti. Former Swan Districts player, hasn't he enjoyed his afternoon? He kicks long to open space. Anderson a good pickup, gets his kick in, but only a kick in under duress. It dribbles along the line and goes over.
Yeah, it's been a good effort by West Perth. They've been terrific. And you know, I questioned a few weeks ago the wisdom in giving Bill Monahan an extension on his contract, and it's been justified with what they've done. They've won 2 finals and probably came into today's game not expected to win. And I didn't think they could. Watching West Perth play, and they've been terrific. Their commitment, their commitment at the contest, their focus, and they've been relentless in the end, and they deserve to win this game.
And it's what got them across the line against the Tigers at Claremont Oval. Their desire, their want, all those things you mentioned. Full credit to them.
Patenti goes to the 50-metre line, knocked away by Wilson. So the official crowd, 20,008 spectators this afternoon to watch the 2013 Grand Final, and they will remember it. It has been a fabulous Grand Final, a great contest, full of ebb and flow right throughout the day.
So Johnson won it down. Again, a free kick for High. Patenti.
Got a great following, obviously, West Perth we know about, but they've also got 50 past premiership players in a couple of boxes here from a couple of their premiership years have gone by. They'll be in great form.
Know a few of them. Adam Curley, one who's come across.
And his brother Todd Curley.
They're both here today.
Well, I spoke to Mel Winnan on the way in, and so what a premiership player. He's been one of their icons.
Of course, has the stand up at Joondalup named after him. Ball back in again. Off hands. Guadnan will snap. Missing to the right-hand side, so another minor score for the Falcons, and indeed another one for Guadnan.
I think Darren Harris, one of our colleagues, was strongly involved in getting the West Perth past player premiership army together.
Only one way to go. Wilson goes straight down the middle. That's a good leap and a strong mark too, taken by Adam Selwood. Playing in pain with a left calf problem. Goes to the outer side of the ground.
And possibly his last game.
Yes, indeed. Seems to have been confirmed that he's accepted a role with the West Coast Eagles for next season.
Has said he would think about playing on, would like to play on, but I
think it's going to be heavily weighted towards East Perth, the role, isn't it? So, which might allow him to have play some footy. But I don't think he's actually said he's going to play, but I think the role is...
You certainly think that he's got another year in him. There's no doubt about that.
At this level, yeah.
The way that he's played toward the end of this season, there he goes again, found a way through heavy traffic. Selwood forward of centre wing, goes up toward the full forward zone. Cripps was his target. Well done by Jordan Jones, gathered the footy. Punts a high floater up toward the wing. Critical fist into it there by Coonan. West Perth now got the numbers. Manning's been superb across his body. Great vision, and Patenti lays it off, though he didn't have to. Got it to Mellington. Mellington to Fowler. Fowler's kicked one. He's now kicked two. Goose-stepping his way towards his mates. They will celebrate long and hard. West Perth will be the 2013 premiers. And after an epic grand final, they have done it in emphatic style.
Yep. Champagne corks will be popping.
I think they might have been popping about 10 or 15 minutes ago, Ken, but great celebration. They've done that fantastically well, and why wouldn't they? Grand final winners. Full credit to them. They've been super impressive. Underdogs against Claremont at Claremont Oval in the second semi. Underdogs today. I, for one, as you, Ken, as well, thought East Perth would get the job done, but they've just their desire and their want, and they're greatly deserved winners.
And they would have had a few nerves at the end of the home and away season too. They lost their last two games in a big one, were belted by East Fremantle by 73 points, and then lost to one of our broadcast games at Bassendean to Swans. But since the final started, far too good for Claremont, despite only winning by 4 points, and then straight into the grand final and another premiership for the Falcons. Derricks has got it at the moment for East Perth. Gets it knocked away from him by Rodder, who slaps it back to Black. He finds Nelson, who's been busy this afternoon, around the body to Millington. He'll mark, he can play on. Millington shrugs one tackle, sends it towards the top of the goal square. Hutchings underneath it, couldn't mark. Spills down, and Payne will see it across the line. You mentioned Bill Monahan, 3 more years he'll become, he sees it out, West Perth's longest serving coach. And he's about to take the Premiership Cup north to Joondalup. Lycett, front position, won it down. Kick from Patenti was smothered. He'll get it again, Patenti. Hands it back. Kerr. Kick was touched. Big pack inside the goal square. East Perth will clear through Fraser, but is it out of bounds on the forward? It is. Kerr's nearest to it. He couldn't go back and kick a fifth, could he? He'll try.
Put it on its side. Go the Torpy.
Yeah. On the fence, he's got a bloke in an orange jacket, lime green jacket in front of him. He's going to trip him over when he comes in to kick this, I reckon.
He'd be asking him to move. So Rowan Kerr kicks long. This will be his fifth. Look at the celebrations. They have won their 19th premiership. Bill Monahan, he'll be delighted with the performance. So the ball is back in the middle. That was tremendous stuff. What an excellent kick at goal. Rowan Kerr, he's got his fifth. West Perth, they're the premiers for 2013.
So, I look at just a good effort by Kerr. Should quite easily have kicked 6. He's got 5. Well done.
Umpire Parry whacks it into the turf. Coonan's found an extra spring in his leap. Selwood released a hand pass. Now he gathers the footy again. Punts it forward, camping underneath it is Andrew Strike. Fabulous season. Great game again today in the one that really matters. Drives it low and hard. He's got Ray Bartholomew unattended on the outer wing. Cross his body, high and wide. Gordon had been one of the outstanding players on the ground. Block your ears, Judgy. He's tackled by Fraser.
Too late, it's done and dusted.
Okay.
I'm hearing you, but that's going to be holding the ball. That might count against him. Fraser with the free kick. He's on the left half-back flank. They're already celebrating. They're not waiting for the siren, West Perth. Fraser's got the ball on to Seal. Good punch by Jordan Jones. Morton couldn't control it. Hutchings can. He's controlled it for most of the day. So too Nelson cutting across his bows. There was Payne across Hutchings' bow. That was Mellington couldn't take the mark. Got plenty of time to gather. Straighten up. Kicks it to the goal square, but he's had it off target. Another behind to Josh Mellington, who's now kicked 2 goals, 4 for the afternoon.
4, yeah.
Judgy, do you stay in the box as the coach, or do you take the walk down, get down to the boundary? You've been there, done it. Which one? Stay up and do the walk later?
Well, this is where you need a flying fox.
1992, I went down just as the game was just before. With the siren was, I was sort of virtually coming onto the ground.
Nelson.
In 94.
Long looking to kick. Another one. He's done it. Oh, Nelson. He deserved a goal as well. Hardy time for those in red and blue. Look at the reaction. Bill Monahan, he has gone downstairs. Marvellous stuff. They were the underdogs. They will be the premiers. West Perth 1911, 125. East Perth 12-10, 82.
Good kick from Shane Nelson.
It was. He's had a great game too. I mean, he and Hutchings have been terrific. Just one thing, I mean, like the incentive to win is so big, isn't it? Until you get to like 20 minutes here, and now East Perth know they're gone. And it's funny how the will just goes, and the will to compete goes, and the opposition just finish all over the top here, and it's exactly what we're seeing now. This is a massive loss to East Perth.
They didn't deserve to lose by 7 goals.
Well, they didn't, but they've certainly hoisted the flag at the moment.
But West Perth just playing with their hearts on their sleeve as Lysette wins the tap, burrowing through Lee. He got it to Sweet. They've been terrific for the Royals today. He floats one up toward Johnson. Couldn't gather it. Jordan Jones outstanding. Goes with a long sweeping kick out to the wing. White is there. Nelson with him. 2 tired players. A bit of a push from Nelson. Got rid of White. So Nelson hand pass to Coonan. He goes looking for Crisp. Threads a hand pass through traffic to Nelson. High kick up to the half-forward line. Strong punch by Mel Dennis. Meeting the footy front on was Selwood. Oh, cutting across his bow. Still smothering is Jason Salisic. If you don't mind, a push in the back. Everything's going the way of the Falcons.
Yeah.
Well, look at this from Jason Salisic.
He's been terrific with all that stuff today. This is the 1% stuff he's done. He hasn't had huge possessions, but just the leadership from the front and to put his body on the line and throw himself across boots has been terrific.
Towering spiral torpedo punt there from Mellington. Gets it to the pocket. There's a snap-on goal from Hutchings. Doesn't score, but it's another possession. Well, I think the West Perth players will sit down with a few beers in the coming days and have a look at the highlights reel, and gee, they'll enjoy what they're seeing. Kick into play is a risky one. Stephen Brown, can he become a goal kicker? He can't. Ball across his body, went straight onto Marcus White chest, and he finds Morton.
A few days, Lammy. I reckon it'll be on every screen that they're at for the next, starting from tonight.
Yep. Manning's been outstanding. Sweet, couldn't control it. Strike can. So too Salisic. His kick half blanketed. Nelson gets another chance. Here's a floater. 2-on-1 in the goal square. Mark has been taken there by Rodder. Stretching out a little bit of cramp, and he'll be feeling no pain. On a hiding to nothing there, poor Mitch Fraser. He was monstered by Rodder. No match for him in the size stakes. This is going to be goal number 20 for West Perth.
Quite remarkable, isn't it, Phil, when you think of that 20 goals in the conditions, in the concept of the game.
And just the way they've made it their own in this final quarter. Making no mistake, Nick Rodder. Terrific contribution. He's kicked 2 final quarter goals. 8 goals won. The margin at 35 minutes, you'd have to think that might be the winning margin. The pre-season will be starting soon.
Yeah, I know. Look, they've been good, West Perth. I mean, they're having fun now. They couldn't care how long the quarter goes, so they probably wouldn't mind going for another 10 minutes or so.
I was just going to say, Judgy,
the boys are filling their boots now. They're just jumping in, racking up the possessions, kicking goals. Actually, I might slip a couple of beers out there to him. Just enjoy one in between the ball coming down.
Clint Weldon is making his way down to ground level, where he'll be presiding over presentations. Let's hope the rain stays away. It looks a little bit clearer above us now, which is really good news for the presentations, because the West Perth players really deserve to be able to celebrate in the finest of possible styles. Taken by Wolf, gets the ball up to the half-forward line. Wolf and Seal combine as the siren goes. Tragedy for them, but absolute euphoria for West Perth. Coming to Subiaco Oval on the biggest day of the year. The underdogs, they have trounced their opposition in a last quarter that will go down in the history books as one of the club's greatest of all time, and that maybe doesn't rank up with the 1975 final quarter. But for these players, it's a moment in their lives that they will treasure forever. 20 goals 11, 131 West Perth. East Perth 12-10, 82. They could only manage 1 goal 2 in the final quarter, whilst the Falcons kicked 7 goals 4 to romp home in the 2013 grand final. Bill Monahan down there with all of his support staff. Of course, it extends to a lot more than just the coach and even the assistant coach. There is a lot of hard work that goes in throughout the course of a season, pre-season and way beyond that. And it all comes together on grand final day. There can only be one winner. And just at a glance, you can see the despair on the looks of the faces of those East Perth players. And the contrast just metres away where the West Perth players are celebrating, and of course the supporters, the East Perth supporters who came today, we saw a group of them just then coming to this ground with a fair degree of optimism, you'd have to say, as we go down to the ground level to one of the stars of the afternoon.
Mark, congratulations, a great win. How does it feel?
Mate, unbelievable feeling. Never won a premiership in my life, so this is the first one. It's bloody amazing.
Mate, you're a tremendous, you started off really well, you were challenged a few times, but you kept your head, you kept trying. There were some fantastic efforts by the midfield, the smothers, the run, just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a great team effort today. I don't think anything was going to stop us today. We just had a mindset to play it out, full quarters, hard football, and that's what we did.
I know you don't read the papers, but pretty much everyone was against you. Everyone thought East Perth was going to be the winners in a bit of a walkover. Did that negative feel ever get into their camp?
Nah, mate, we don't worry about that. We've been underdogs pretty much all season, so it didn't really bother us. We just stayed true to ourselves, really bonded over the last 2 weeks and got the job done.
10 goal kickers, that must be fantastic. And obviously, Kerr, 5 goals from him, just unbelievable. You didn't think that?
Oh, mate, he's a gem of a player, absolute gun. And played awesome today, but we just had so many contributors, so it was bloody awesome out there.
Mate, the captain decided to kick into the win. Was that something that was planned, because you copped a little bit of flack for it upstairs?
Yeah, mate, no, it didn't really bother us. It was a bit swirly in here, so I kind of didn't really bother us. We didn't think about it too much. Just got it done.
Congratulations, go and enjoy it, mate.
Salicic, captain of the West Perth Football Club, what does it mean to you to be another premiership player again?
Oh, it's fantastic. The boys put in a lot of hard work, and there's a lot of guys here that have been around a long time, and they deserve it. And just grateful that we had the belief, and we always knew we could do it. It's just great that we've done it.
You're one of the favourite sons at this club. You're a big part of the footy club. What does it mean, not just to the players, but to the fans and support staff?
Oh, it's huge. You look at the turnout today. We've got a lot of good fans that come in every week, and it's great to do something for them as well, and they enjoy the night as well.
What's the last 10 minutes like of a grand final that you're going to win?
When it's not close, I think it's very enjoyable when you're putting some score on the board as well, and the boys get to celebrate. There's no better feeling in terms of football. Yeah,
go and enjoy it, mate.
Yeah, and enjoy it he will. Jason Salicic, a big smile on the face of the Victorian captain. And we're going to go down to the victorious coach as well. And Bill Monahan, what a day it's been for him. What a season it's been for him.
Yes, thanks very much, Phil. Bill, it's taken 5 years, but fantastic effort.
Oh, look, it was. I thought the boys were outstanding. People have been questioning us all year. even today with the conditions and the big bodies of their tools. But I thought our blokes really stood up. They pressured hard. We obviously kicked a little better on goals this week. And in the end, you know, the margin blew out a little bit at the end. The boys were celebrating a lot. So it's a fantastic win. All the hard work they go. These guys are, you know, they hold down jobs and study. And to do the work they do, they thoroughly deserve everything that they get.
And some fantastic individual efforts. We talked about Kernan and also the young fella as well. Just great stuff.
Yeah, look, and I thought Dan Hunt did a wonderful job down back. Berry kicked 5, I think. Nelson was outstanding again. And I thought our in and under midfielders, Hutchings, Van Berlo and Gordon, were all fantastic. Good luck to who's got to pick the best player, I reckon.
Did you dream about it was going to happen?
Oh, look, I've been remarkably calm. I actually tried not to think about it, and it worked. So look, we've worked really hard on keeping it pretty level-headed the last 2 weeks, and you know we're lucky to get over the line against Claremont after kicking so poorly. So the players were refreshed, and I think that showed late in the game that we still had the energy, and East Perth, you know, probably just ran out of juice a little bit.
Now that was the great thing that you know you didn't have to pray for the rain. You actually outran and outworked the team in the end.
Yeah, look, I might have lied a bit. I went upstairs and I told them that you asked me about whether I were praying for rain, and I was pretty happy when it came.
Congratulations, mate. Fantastic work. Well earned. Well done. Go and enjoy it.
Thank you very much, guys.
Yes, the ever affable Bill Monaghan, coach of the victorious Falcons. As we look at the goal scorers, and Rowan Kerr, an outstanding performance, 5 goals, leading goal scorer in the grand final. Mark Hutchings, what a game he played, 3. And also Crisp, Fowler, Mellington and Rodder, each kicking 2, while Salisic kicked 1. And for the Royals, Jamie Cripps, their leading goal scorer with 3. They had 3 players kicking a couple, Seal, Smith and Lysette, whilst Wolf, Johnson and Swan each kicked 1. And that's the way the game unfolded. It was a ripper game throughout. East Perth just with their noses in front by a goal at quarter time. West Perth had the ascendancy at half-time. They led by 11 points. The status quo remained at 3-quarter time with an 11-point lead. But look at the blowout in the final quarter. 7 goals 4 to 1 goal 2, and it was the Falcons by 49 points. Shane Nelson, well, he was talked about by Bill Monaghan, how proud he is of all of his boys. He singled Nelson out. He kicked a goal. He had 36 possessions, 29 to Hutchings, 2 outstanding players. Kerr likewise with his match-winning 5 goals. Wadman, a terrific effort with 24. Mellington, 2 goals 4, could have had 4 goals too. Black outstanding with 23. Crisp and Strike were good players. But you could throw another half dozen at least in there. Of course, Brendan Lee, the skipper, 37 possessions, a terrific performance by Brendan Lee. Sweet also with 31 was outstanding. So too Selwood had 30 possessions. Wolf, typical game from him with 24. Seal, 2 early goals for East Perth. Wilson, terrific in defence. Grover came in for Freddie Clutterbuck, did his job, and Jamie Cripps, 3 goals 2 from 10 possessions.
Yeah, well, and the stats here, I mean, in the end, West Perth, I mean, they dominated that last quarter. If you look down at the 51 to 41 in the inside 50s, I mean, it was pretty even at 3-quarter time. They just had all the ball in their half in the last quarter. As far as kicks and handballs go, 335 there to, what have we got, 310. So, I mean, I think there was a bit of junk footy that was played in the end. But the other thing that became significant in the end, 89 hit-outs to 37, but won the centre breaks 23 to 13.
Absolutely quite remarkable. Time to go downstairs to the Master of Ceremonies for the presentations, Clint Wheeldon.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please direct your attention to Mr. Clint Wheeldon for the official presentation.
2013 WAFL Premiership Cup. The WAFL appreciates the support of leading national motor home and travel insurer AAMI. AAMI are the official naming rights partner for the 2013 WAFL season. Thanks also to everyone who braved the weather to come out this afternoon and attend what has been a terrific finish to the 2013 WAFL season. The hallmark of 2013 has been a close and exciting competition between all the teams. Every club has fought hard for a place in the finals, West Perth and East Perth earning their place in today's game, and I'd ask everyone here to show their appreciation for both teams. Another part of this great season, and something that games could not take part without, is of course the umpires. Football's theme of umpiring is everyone's business. We respect the umpires and the role
and acknowledge the important role that they have to play. And I'd ask the umpires ball champion for 2013, David Johnson, to come forward and to make the presentation to today's WAFL Grand Final umpires. The umpires from today's game, if you could come forward and receive a Grand Final medallion in recognition of officiating today's Grand Final. In the field for today, Stuart Parry, Justin Orr and Scott McPhee. Emergency, Bo Wardman. On the boundary, Michael Washbourne, Brad Hunt, Adam Bastick and Jack McDonald. And in goal, Kendall Ball and Brodie Payne, and the third scorer, Lauren French. The umpires, of course, do a terrific job. We respect their commitment and their dedication. And we also thank David Johnson for his great contribution to the game via umpiring. Ladies and gentlemen, we witnessed the culmination of the 2013 season today, and while we have a winning team, we also have a losing team that played some fantastic football throughout the year. Can you please join me in welcoming to the stage the captain today of the East Perth Football Club, Craig Wolfe. Craig, commiserations, but I'm sure your supporters that are here would like to hear a few words.
Yeah, first of all, I'd just like to say well done to the West Perth Football Club, all the coaching staff involved. On the day, you're clearly better than us, and I wish you all the best tonight for the next week, and really enjoy yourselves and make the most of it. I'd like to thank all the East Perth and West Perth supporters for coming out in pretty ugly conditions. It definitely was a good game. I think both teams gave it all, and yeah, it was a good contest. To our guys, you know, we had a crack, we tried hard, we gave it our all. We just fell short today, but that's not the end, just the start, so look forward to next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Craig. One of the more enduring features of WA football has been the Simpson Medal. It's been presented since 1945 to some outstanding players in grand finals and state games. And can I please ask James Clark, the grandson of Frederick Simpson, to join me on stage as we present the winner of this year's Simpson Medal. And ladies and gentlemen, the winner from the West Perth Football Club, Mark Hutchings.
Just firstly to East Perth, just full respect to your team and your club for the game that you played today. It's a great contest, and just all the West Perth supporters, thanks for coming out, meant a lot to us, and just to the boys, best army life, just getting the win today. So thank you, and let's enjoy tonight, eh?
Ladies and gentlemen, someone else who was involved with so many great WA teams, he's a champion himself, is of course John Todd. And John is presenting the John Todd Medal to the 2013 Premiership coach. This medal, of course, named after John in recognition of his outstanding coaching record and his long involvement in the game. And if we could ask John to please come forward and make the presentation to the winning coach from the West Perth Football Club, Bill Monaghan.
It gives me great pleasure to present my medal to Billy Monaghan. He's been a player, a personality, and he's been a great leader, and congratulations on your win today, Bill. Thank you.
Thanks very much to John and the West Australian Footy Commission for putting on today. First of all, I'd like to thank the East Perth Football Club, their administration, obviously Brian and his coaching team and the players. They had a real crack at it over the last couple of weeks and were formidable foes today. So we wish them all the best for the future. To the West Perth Football Club, who gave me the opportunity to coach this wonderful club, and in particular this wonderful group of men. To all the West Perth supporters who came here today. For those people who don't know, we're at the Adriatic Club tonight, so if you want to head back there pretty soon, you might get in. To our players, they are just an absolutely wonderful group of young men who sacrificed a lot to play WAFL footy. They could be out doing other things, but their commitment to the cause, not only today but over a long period of time, has been outstanding. And that doesn't just include the 22 who will be up here shortly. To all the other guys who are out here and the guys who played their part throughout the year, thank you very much. And I hope everyone who's got a red and blue shirt, scarf or jumper on today have one hell of a night. Thank you.
I'd now like to ask the players from the West Perth Football Club to come forward and receive their medallions, starting with number 1, Aaron Black.
He's been a good player. He's had a great season, judging state footy and polled a lot of votes in the Sandover medal and capped it off with a fine performance today.
23 possessions. Was a really solid contributor.
Number 3, Andrew Strike.
Really liked Strikey's game. His use of the footy. He's always amongst their best group of players, but he had a steady influence across the half-back line today.
He just sets up play so well with his foot skills, doesn't he?
Number 4, Rowan Kerr.
Such a new player to the club. Played some AFL footy with Carlton, but Rowan Kerr, 5 goals in the grand final is an outstanding performance.
Well, it could have been 6.
Yes.
This one in the first quarter, but good effort. 19 possessions and 5 goals in a grand final team.
Number 5, Jordan Jones.
I really like Jordan Jones' game as well. He plays with a lot of aggression, attacks the ball. He had his hands full at times with his opponent, but a really good, hard-hitting game by him.
Yep.
Number 6, Mark Crisp.
2 goals.
Yeah, 15 possessions, battled hard. Works hard to get to win possession of the ball, and he was tough and hard at it again. One of the players that put some real good pressure on the East Perth defence when the ball got inside 50 for West Perth.
Number 7, Stephen Brown.
Only knows one way, Stephen Brown, doesn't he? He's just so hard at the footy and puts his body on the line for his teammates.
Yeah, he is. Nice, solid player, and does his job week in, week out.
Number 8, Mark Hutchings.
Yeah, look, I think he's probably everyone's choice, wasn't he, for the Simpson medal?
Yeah, 29 possessions, 3 goals, 1. Just set the standard. He was fantastic with his the way he led and how he went about winning the footy.
Number 10, Matt Guadanin.
I know this player was high up on your ratings as he was with mine. Another outstanding performance by this fella.
Yeah, 24 possessions, kicked a couple of behinds, which probably let himself down, but just works so hard, puts his body on the line, crashes in. And he was one of those really hard-working midfielders that helped win this game for West Perth.
Number 12, Daniel Hunt.
Being a milestone man, Dan Hunt. He's an unheralded defender, isn't he? Does his job. He's very uncomplicated with the way he goes about his business.
Well, he played on Smith, so he did a good job in keeping him down.
Number 14, Shane Nelson.
Yeah, another outstanding performance. Yeah. Great engine, this player.
Yeah, would have been vying for best on ground honours, I think, with Hutchings. 36 possessions he had, kicked a goal.
Number 17, Matt Fowler.
Took a while to get into the game, Matt Fowler, but finished up with 2 goals.
Well, he did, and 2 second-half goals. So it wasn't an easy day for tall forwards. So, he'd be happy with his couple.
Number 18, Jay Van Burlo.
Yeah, took a heavy knock early, went off to get some stitching done to his forehead, but a very, very solid game indeed.
Yeah, I thought he was okay. Again, he was one of the midfielders who worked really hard and was a solid contributor.
Number 19, Christopher Cunin.
No one had a bigger job on the ground than this man.
Yeah, it was a tough day for him because, he was coming up against 2... certainly Johnson and in Lysette, who are both massive and much stronger bodied players than him. Didn't get as many hit-outs, but he battled hard for them. He was certainly not, he was a solid contributor
Number 20, Sean Marusic.
Played a few roles forward, back, took a bit of a pinch hitting role in the ruck too, but did well.
Yep, not lots of possessions, but was a good contributor.
Number 21, Lane Rasmussen.
So the same about Lane Rasmussen. Not a lot of the footy, but he was out there doing his job, and that's what Bill Monahan was after.
Yep.
Wearing number 23, Luke Tedesco.
Good to see him fit enough to come back into the side. Deserved to be a part of this lineup today.
Well, he'd be happy he was in the side.
Yes.
Because he's been out for a while with an injury. They took a punt. Well, it was a punt, but they put him back in the team, and he was solid.
Number 25, Ray Bartholomew.
Now a veteran of this team, a vice-captain, and again a terrific player to see honoured with a premiership medallion.
Well, honest as the day is long, so deserved of a medal. Been a good competitor for the club over a long period of time.
Number 27, Stephen Patenti.
And this is a success story. Started his footy with Swan Districts, decided to make the change, and has been rewarded with the premiership.
Be happy with the move. Very
Number
happy.
40, Josh Millington.
He just adds a touch of class to this side, Josh Millington, doesn't he?
We kicked 2 forward.
Yeah.
Could easily have kicked 4 or 5 goals himself. Thought he gave a good contest down forward.
Number 44, Nicholas Rodder.
He's another player, new to the club. He's young. He's got a lot of potential. He's a hard-working player who can play a few different roles.
We knew Josh would get there eventually.
Oh, we lost Josh Millington in the process.
And now number 44, Nicholas Rodder.
Nick Rodder. Yeah, well, he got a couple of goals, kicked a couple in the last quarter. Look, he battled away in the ruck when he had to go and replace Kernan, and filled the boots at the end with a couple of goals.
Number 47, Cody Manning.
And I was really wrapped in this guy's game. He was just terrific, a head on a heart. His name's got in the book on report, but outstanding grand final.
17 possessions, but his hardness was the key.
Yeah.
He actually made some things happen because of their hardness. As you said, got reported, but that was the least thing you'd be worried about right at this moment.
You're right.
And the captain of the West Perth Football Club, number 2, Jason Salisic.
Yeah, and Jason Salisic, the skipper, and a huge roar well deserved by this man here. He's so well respected by everyone in footy. The only surviving member of the 2003 Premiership side for West Perth.
Well, when you look at his figures, I mean, his stats weren't huge. He only had 13 possessions. He kicked a goal, but the selfless acts and the pressure today and the smothers, he threw himself across boots on 2 or 3 occasions today, was just so fantastic for the leader of the side. He just led from the front.
Commiserations to East Perth. Very good side, and best of luck next year. I know it's a bit of pill to swallow. I've been there before, and it only makes you stronger. So you guys will be back bigger and harder next year. So thank you. To my boys, we've always had the belief within this group, and there's a lot of leaders within our group, and it's always been questioned, but on a big day like today, everyone stood up, and the West Perth spirit's still up and still alive. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the WAFL would like to sincerely thank Amy for its support this year as the official naming rights partner of the 2013 season. And now Barry Cable, who is celebrating his 70th birthday today. He's a legend of our great game and an icon of WA football. Please put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, as he comes forward to present the cup to the winning captain and coach of the West Perth Football Club.
So there's some icons of WA footy out there. Barry Cable, happy birthday to him. John Todd also. But it's all about these players here. Judgy, they were outstanding today, weren't they?
Yep, no, they were terrific. And credit to Bill Monahan. As I said, I was a person who a couple of weeks ago wondered whether the reappointment for an extra 3 years was the right decision by the club, based on how the club had gone in recent years in finals. He and the club have answered that in spadefuls. By the way, they've played in 2 finals and winning a premiership. So well done to Bill Monahan.
They took a bit of a punt. They may not have expected to be rewarded so early.
Yeah, I know. That's right. Well, but they've got it. And, to his credit, as I said, credit to him. He's done well and a great decision by the club now in hindsight. They were terrific today. I mean, their commitment was, if you can scale it down from what we saw Fremantle do last night in the AFL, we saw a similar sort of performance from West Perth today in the WAFL, and they got the same result.
The three-quarter time in particular, you and Brad were saying that perhaps the strength, the conditioning, the inclusion of the AFL players who have had that sort of strength and conditioning training might be distressed. I was in agreement with you, but these guys just turned that theory on its head.
I agree. They did. In actual fact, East Perth looked out in their feet in the end. They just couldn't go.
Yeah. So it's all about West Perth, aren't they, celebrating their 2013 grand final. And it's been a terrific year, an outstanding year. It's all about West Perth at the moment, but all of the teams have contributed to an outstanding 2013. And I think it's timely judgy for us who get to be in front of the camera as the players start their lap of honour. We have a great team behind the camera, a big team, a very professional team who make us look good, if that's what that is right at the moment there. But outstanding. We'd like to thank our team and, of course, thank our audience who have been with us throughout the course of the season.
Yeah, it's been great, Lammy, and a great season. Well done to West Perth, and well-deserved win.
So it's all about West Perth. West Perth, the premiers for 2013. They are really going to enjoy their night the coming days, and they'll be flying the flag for a long time. Outstanding performance by the Falcons. Congratulations to Bill Monahan, and we look forward to seeing your back again next year, because it's been most appreciated from week to week, and we'll do it again in 2014.